never fade away. Never fade away.
Seven days and 7 nights, I haven't seen you for a while. You got me thinking thinking. You got me lost, lost in translation, I'm feeling gone. But for now, all I have to say is hello, goodbye. But for now, all I have to say is hello, goodbye. Seven days and 7 nights, I haven't seen you for a while. You got me thinking, you got me lost, lost in translation, I'm feeling gone. But for now, all I have to say is hello, goodbye. But for now, all I have to say is hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. All I have to say is hello, goodbye.
But the, oh my gosh, Strode deletes Dagus. He doesn't have enough magic resist. He's completely itemized on armor and he can't. Wild Dog is going to get caught here, though, by the ultimate of Delude, and Radar with the Cataclysm will take him down. Now Buster Toast going in. Gamer will take down Prophet, but now they're in full retreat. Buster Toast forced the flash away as Dagus is fairly low. A 1-for-1 fight there, support. The Order ultimate is going to hit Divine Cameron, and they will get the double knockup. Dagus takes one. He will take a fight in the bottom side. Ooh, great Emperor's Divide. Hectus trying to get onto the backline. A double kill for the Azir. Oh, can he get the triple? No. But they just, oh, and there's the double kill. The Vega to try and chase them down, still alive. but the double kill for Stro as well. The top laners and junglers are dead. Prophet gonna go in aggressively. Too aggressively, though. He's gonna take quite a bit of damage. Gamer trying to back away. Oh my god, Stro deletes Wild Dog, however. Here comes Buster Toast. They secure D-Loon, and he is dead. Dagus is gonna get stunned momentarily by the parallel convergence, but Pectus is gonna try to take down Divine Cameron, and he does. He can hold Pectus with the damage. Wild Dog has arrived as well. They will take down the jungler, so they are gonna get some kills in return, but D-Loon's on the bottom side now, taking down another inhibitor. Flash, let's bounce, we'll pull the jungler and top laner into the team. Wild Dog trying to deal out as much damage as he can. He's got to be careful. Stro has arrived, but Prophet could go down. Dagus will take the kill. This 2v2 in the mid lane is going to get the stretching strikes on the Stro. Stro's pretty low as the electrocute does activate. Buster Toast has his passive. Stro's got to get out of here. He's going to lose his life. That's not worth. Pectus gets the kill. Is it going to be a double kill to Pectus, and he's 3-0.
Game 5.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't expect this game 5. I expected a little.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ABL Season 3, the second day of Week 1 here. I am your host, as always, Yeso. And joining me today for his first ever cast as well, like our good friend Zoob last night, my man Audio Adrenaline. Welcome to the desk. How does it feel?
It feels great to be here, Yeso. I'm super excited to be a part of this cast, and we have got a really exciting matchup today, and I'm hyped. I am hyped.
I couldn't agree more. I got my my nice little cup of tea ready. You got your Pepsis good to go over Pepsi there. Certainly going to be a good night. We do have KAW Knights versus Reborn Gaming on this stream tonight, just to remind everybody. Just want to go through a couple of things here before we get into tonight's matchup. However, if you missed last night's stream, I just want to run down a couple of new things for you. There have been some changes to the ABL this season. We have new teams. Now, returning to the league, we do have GG Forfeit at 15, as well as Vital Point Storm returning after leaving the league early in season number 2. And we also have KAW Knights formally enter the Beast, returning to the league. But other than that, we do have 7 new teams: Elevated Gravity, Full Send Gaming, No Name Necessary, Reborn Gaming, Reign of Kings, Schism, and Team Royal Luck. Already featured 2 of those teams in No Name Necessary and Team Royal Luck on last night's stream. If you're curious what happened there, please hit the videos tab on our Twitch page, and the whole broadcast will be listed under there for you. The format, just to remind you, of the league is a 9-week single round robin. Each team will play each other once in a best-of-3 match, 1 per week, either on Monday or Tuesday night. The top 6 teams at the end of that 9-week regular season will advance then to the postseason, which we will have best-of-5s. The top 2 teams get a first-round bye. Next 4 will play in the first round, and then we will go all the way to the finals to play for the share of at least a $750 prize pool. Donations, sponsorships, and all that kind of stuff do contribute to that prize pool. So if you're curious about that, please check out our website. There is a donate link on there as well for the stream. If you guys want to contribute to the stream, we would certainly appreciate it. The easiest way you can do that is obviously to just come and watch us on Monday and Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, you can hit that subscribe button at the top, as well as consider the donate link at the bottom of our page. We thank you so much for all the support you guys have given us over the last year, and we look forward to continuing to bring out a great product for you guys. But now as we look at tonight's matchup, again, we have KAW Knights facing off against Reborn Gaming. Your rebranded Season 2 champions, KAW Knights, formally enter the Beast, and now coming into the season with the roster revamped. Talk to me a little bit about what you see here, Audio, on this KAW Knights roster.
Well, we've got a nice core coming back. We've got the bot lane, Wild Dog, Satan, and Gamer coming back from the old Enter the Beast roster. If you guys were there last season, Enter the Beast had really rough season. But towards the end there, they completely or almost completely revamped their roster and made a miracle playoff run and went all the way to win the season. So we're going to be looking at Bandit, Yeah, and Vitalis, especially today, kind of seeing how they mesh in with the other core of the team. But I expect this team to be pretty well synergized. At the start, they are kind of returning as more of a core group than some of the other teams that have just created new rosters. So definitely going to be looking at the bot lane. Those two, Wild Dog, Satan, and Gamer, have always been phenomenal together. They know each other, been playing together for a while. And then also, I want to see how Bandit, Yeah, and Gnarly Brood work. I know Gnarly Brood loves his Gnar top lane, and he usually gets a little bit of jungle attention, so we'll see how Bandit, Yeah, can keep that up.
Now, on the other side of the rift, we have Reborn Gaming, which, considering the roster that they have, is pretty on-point branding. This was a team put together by Prayer, formerly known as Pride, the Season 2 top laner for Invictus Gaming. And the interesting kind of through line for the series that we have is that KAW Knights, when they were Enter the Beast, 3-0'd Pride's Invictus lineup in the semifinals last season, and that was a team that was the #1 seed going into the postseason, looked honestly like a shoo-in to go to the finals and challenge for the championship, and then they get run over, and then Pride decides, I'm going to, change my name, and then I'm going to go form my own team, put together a new roster, and, kind of try and, as their logo shows with the Phoenix, rise from the ashes and try and conquer those demons of that 3-0 sweep. And he's brought in a solid roster as well as Zinski in support, the former GG Forfeit at 15 support, who was cast away after they took in Norgal, who showed up very well in ABL Scouting Grounds. I think pretty on-point branding, and I think a perfect test here at the start to face his former nemesis that took him down in last year's postseason.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a revenge story with Pride, or Prayer, formerly Pride, kind of facing off against his former adversaries, and I'm really excited to see this season how well Reborn Gaming can prove themselves, because they really are looking to make a name for themselves. They've kind of got their band of merry misfits going, and it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to live up to the expectations they've set for themselves and be able to prove to the league that they aren't just a bunch of outcasts, that they are some of the best players that they're in this season.
Certainly going to get a chance to prove themselves tonight on just the second day of the season here on the stream. As we prepare to get into draft here, we will hit you with that roster rundown. KAW Knights with side choice in games 1 and 3. They will take blue side here to start off. They will have Gnarly Brood in the top lane, Bandit, Yeah, roaming around in the jungle of Vitalis, formerly of the now defunct Havoc squad, found a home in the mid lane for KAW Knights. And as we mentioned earlier, the bot lane of Wild Dog, Satan, and Gamer, that duo staying together, as well as their coach, Diz the Great, here for picks and bans.
And on the red side, we're going to have Reborn Gaming, Prayer in the top lane, Hunty in the jungle, Wombat in the mid lane. Have the free agent Unlucky Crit actually today in the AD carry position, and Zinski as support.
And there you have it, folks. We will be into draft here momentarily. Just going to let them know that we are all ready to go here on the broadcast and should have this going in just a moment. Just going to get ready checks here from both teams. Just want to remind everybody during the series, make sure to utilize that little op.gg extension on the left side of your screen. We'll give you some background and stats on all of the players in this matchup. So if you want to get a little bit of background without having to leave the stream, you can continue watching and get all the stuff you need right from here. But we are into draft now for game number 1 between KAW Knights and Reborn Gaming. You did a little background on both of these teams and looked up kind of what their comfort picks are. Are there certain things that you would be surprised to not be banned here early?
I would definitely like to see Reborn Gaming banning out Gnarly Brood's Gnar. He is famous for this champion, obviously named after it, and he plays a lot of it in solo queue, and he has a very good success rate. Just here in Season 8, I think he's already played over 30, 40 games with it, with above a 65% win rate.
Wow.
So that's definitely, it's his main champion. He knows the ins and out, and he can win, I would say, almost any matchup on it. So I think that should definitely, if they don't have a counter pick ready to take care of it, they should definitely be taking it away, because I think it can be deadly in his hands.
And I would say, regardless of it being Gnarly Brood, that is just a strong meta pick right now, and certainly first pick worthy right now.
Yeah, and I've been also take Airy on Gnar. A lot of, if you look at professional play and higher up play, it's not always the more popular pick, but it does offer a lot of poke and a lot of lane pressure, and it can kind of help him, take control of the lanes, win these 1v1s, get an advantage, and then take it around the map. So definitely a strong pick for him, but we'll see. We'll see if maybe Reborn Gaming has an answer for it.
Yeah, as of right now, they do leave it open here in the first ban phase, so we can possibly see it picked up early, but it will instead be the Warwick first pick, most likely going to go to Bandit. Yeah, haven't seen a lot of that lately. What are your thoughts on the heavy priority on that jungler right now?
So Warwick is definitely, he can be a huge carry pick. His ganks, you always have to watch out. Better than they used to be, for sure. There's nothing more terrifying than, winning a bad trade and then having that blood scent come on you, and you don't know if Warwick's on the opposite side of the map or if he's sitting in a bush. And so just the pick, itself creates a lot of pressure. Kind of forces laners to think twice about sticking around when they're low on health. But if Bandit can get out there in the early game and get some good ganks off, he can really snowball in this champion. Late game might not offer much more. It does. He is really good at picking off people with his ultimate though, and kind of chasing people down. But we will see the Malzahar and the Tristana coming through for Reborn Gaming. Tristana, very safe, high priority AD carry right now. Malzahar, also very high up in priority. He was nerfed on the most recent patch. I think his ult cooldown was kind of taken down, but some good pick and some good safety out of Reborn Gaming.
Yeah, and we talked about that Gnar, and it gets through the first pick phase, and they will take that for Gnarly Brood. So quite a strong top side of the map there with the Warwick, Gnar, and Orianna. So they will save the bot lane picks for after the second ban phase. So we can see Reborn target either Wild Dog or Gamers Champion pool here in the second ban phase, as they did finish off with that Sejuani pick. A very strong jungler right now. Tanks are certainly very prevalent, and gonna create a lot of gank pressure with that one.
Yeah, I think Bandit is definitely going to be looking to come to this top side, help out his Gnar, really get him ahead in this. They might be able to force a counter pick and even give him a better matchup. But I do like the Sejuani pick. It's got good pick potential. It's got good disengage, which is kind of just what Reborn Gaming needs. And Sejuani is just a fantastic front line in the late game with her frost armor, giving her that slow resist and armor and the magic resist.
And just to be clear, if you folks did notice the lack of bans here for Reborn Gaming in the second phase due to using a free agent in unlucky crit late, there are requirements, if you want to use a free agent, to give ample notification to the other team to prepare for that, and they didn't do so. So that means they do, in fact, lose their phase 2 bans just in the first game, however. So if they are able to overcome that, then should be fairly good signs for Reborn Gaming. In the heavy bans there, too, towards Zinski's support pool, taking away the Braum and the Soraka. And now we will get to see what they prioritize here in phase 2.
Yeah, definitely wanting to keep some of the more protection-heavy supports out of the way, as they already have a Tristana, very good at keeping herself safe, can buffer out of CC with a rocket jump. Kind of wanted to make sure she didn't get a Braum or Soraka on top of her and make her completely unkillable. But I like the Tarek pick from Reborn Gaming coming out. It's a that starting to make a very good late game, kind of even more unstoppable frontline in your face comp. But we will see what KAW Knights picks up for their support. They're looking at Zyra, so maybe looking to get a little more aggressive in the laning phase.
And to answer Rotten Potato Aim in the chat, all players in this match are between either gold 5 or between gold 5 and platinum 2. For chat, I cannot speak for that. I would imagine there's plenty of challenger tier players watching this stream, so a lot of just high-end talent in our Twitch chat right now.
And the Varus picked up for KAW Knights. Varus, I think Varus is a very, very strong laner right now. Typically, he's been going Rageblade lately, and it was definitely an effective pick against this triple frontline comp that Reborn Gaming has put together. If he can sit in the back line and just continuously fire off these Rageblade powered auto attacks, I mean, this Maokai, this Sejuani, and this Tarek are just going to melt. And Varus Zyra, that also is a very strong laning phase. I expect them to be shoving in this Tristana and the Tarek in the early game and really trying to create an advantage for themselves, which is going to allow Bandit to kind of focus on that Gnar top lane against this Maokai and have him bully out. So strong lanes from this side of KAW Knights.
And someone did mention in Twitch chat that the client was a little too small on the screen. Did size it up for you, so let me know if that is big enough to ensure that you guys can read everything. Certainly willing to adjust that to make sure everything looks good for you guys at home. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight for this series between KAW and Reborn Gaming. And just remember to check in every Monday and Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, for your ABL action. And we are just 2.5 minutes away from getting into game 1 of this best of 3. And we did see last night Schism take a 2-0 win over Full Sun Gaming, and then Team Morella going the distance and getting the 2-1 reverse sweep over No Name Necessary. So those two teams at the top of the standings right now, and one of these teams looking to climb right up there with them. And you're very welcome, D-Loon. Hopefully you can read that better, but one of these teams looking to climb to the top of standings at week 1's end, and we'll just have to see who can do that. Thoughts at the end of this draft then? Who do you think won the draft phase here between these two teams?
I would honestly have to give the draft phase over to KAW Knights. I think they drafted some really strong lanes. Gnar is going to be able to bully out that Maokai. Varus Zyra, that is a extremely heavy poke comp push lane. The only lane that I think Reborn Gaming might be able to get ahead is this Malzahar and this Orianna. Orianna, not the greatest laning phase. If Hunter can get into that mid lane and kind of pressure that Orianna, get Malzahar ahead, and then use Malzahar to kind of roam to the other lanes and apply some pressure. Otherwise, I think in the late game, although Reborn Gaming does have this kind of triple front line to protect their Tristana and their Malzahar, they're also lacking on a little bit of damage, I think. Malzahar and Tristana really being the only carries, while on the side of KAW Knights, you have the Orianna, the Varus, and the Zyra are all going to be putting out a lot of damage, and there's a huge team fight potential there too. Getting the Orianna ball on the Warwick, having him ult in, or maybe on the Gnar, the Shockwave into the Zyra ults, the Varus ult on top of that, just kind of spreading CC everywhere. And so I think it's going to be kind of tough in the late game for Reborn Gaming to group up. But I think if this Sejuani can kind of get around to these lanes and apply some pressure, relieve some of that poke, then they can definitely get ahead, and there's definitely a chance for them. Tristana, one of the premier late game crit 80 carries.
Yeah, certainly both of these teams with plenty of CC to layer on top of each other in this game, but that AoE wombo combo that KAW will bring to the table is certainly going to be very, very threatening once we get to the team fighting phase. So if they can set up a 5v5 fight that they want, they're certainly going to be in a position to win some very big fights in this game as we do load into game number 1.
Yes, and I think Reborn Gaming is going to, they're going to have to be careful about which fights they take. KAW Knights should definitely be looking to force fights around Baron, around these objectives, kind of push Reborn Gaming into these 5v5s as much as they can. But then on the flip side, Reborn Gaming needs to be careful, try to get some vision. I think vision is going to be very important with them. Try to get out some picks, because if they can take out just one member of that team, take out the Orianna, take out the Gnar, they've lost a huge portion of their wombo combo potential, and their comp just kind of starts to fall apart. Their composition is very ultimate reliance, and they kind of need all their pieces there if they want to pull off that successful team fight. So we will see if the Sejuani Hunter on that Sejuani is able to get into those side lanes early game, or if we will see some more pulling out by the bot lane and the top lane. We do see that both mid laners have taken Unsealed Spellbook. This is kind of, Unsealed Spellbook is kind of the new craze seen in almost every lane now. Just offers so much unpredictability in fights and kind of breaks the normal rules of the meta.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. We are into game number 1. The Summoners are in. We are on to the Rift for KAW Knights versus Reborn Gaming. So excited to see just how this best of 3 shakes out. And you mentioned earlier, talking about that Airy pick on the Gnar in the top lane, and Gnarly Brood has taken that Keystone, or it's Keystone Rune now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
Keystone Rune, I'm a little confused on how they were.
But has taken that Keystone
mastery
there.
though.
Yeah, definitely going to look to continue to bully that 1v1 in the top side. Gnar already has that advantage in the early 1v1 against the Maokai, and that seems like it's only going to empower him to play aggressively on the top side here early.
Yeah, we'll see if Bandit is going to move up there to focus that. Both junglers are starting with the blue buff, so we probably won't see any clash from them early on in the game.
Yeah, Warwick certainly has more gank potential pre-6 than he used to, but still not a lot until he is able to unlock that ultimate. That's when he really becomes a threat to show up into your lane. So I would assume that both of these junglers probably just going to wait for that level 6 before they try and affect their lanes, unless opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, the real pressure from Warwick is going to be coming out when these solo lanes, these side lanes go in for these trades, and you can see Gnarly Brood already starting to poke out Prayer, and if he can get them down to low health, or this bot lane can poke out their opponents, then you've got the Blood Scent that really kind of opens up Warwick's gank potential. He can just kind of hover around that side of the map, and if you overextend while that Blood Scent is on you, you can just come rushing in at, Mach 10, Mach 10 speeds.
Warwick's gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. You're kind of seeing, across the board, everything as expected. KAW Knights are just shoving in all of their lanes.
Now we could see Hunty try to make a play here in the mid lane, but Talus has been pushing Wombat in, and he seems like he's more than happy to have that happen. Taking a retreat to take the Scuttle Crab for now, but there could be an opportunity to get a gank off on this Orianna in the near future. Good amount of poke down here onto Zinski as he is below half health. As the KAW Knights bot lane continues to force Reborn back towards their tower.
And it is going to be... Reborn Gaming does have a lot of survivability on their side. I think that was pretty smart against these kind of heavy push lanes. Maokai, very good sustain, hard to dive. He's got a lot of CC, a lot of disengage. Tristana, obviously, one of the safest AD carries in the game, probably only second to Ezreal. Tark has shields, he has heals. I think the only real easy lane to gank here would probably be the Malzahar. All the other lanes kind of have ways to protect themselves and survive these ganks, especially from this Warwick early on who doesn't have any lockdown or hard gank potential.
Yeah, and even with the Malzahar, though, if you don't prep that gank right and take down his passive, you're going to be hard-pressed to engage on him, but Vital shouldn't have too difficult of a time with his poke. Now, talk to me a little bit. We know that the win condition for KAW Knights is essentially get to the team fighting phase and, you know, set up your ultimate wombos. Does Reborn still want to fight into that, or are they going to try and look for more picks, you know, in the roaming from Malzahar in the Sejuani? Are we going to... Did I lose you?
Oh, sorry. I think you might have to repeat that. I think you cut out for a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just wondering about the win condition here for Reborn. Is it going to be heavily geared around early roaming from Malzahar and Sejuani?
Yeah, I definitely think that Hunter needs to, with this Sejuani pick, kind of get into this Orianna lane. Malzahar, post 6 especially, with this teleport and unsealed spellbook, he's going to have really low cooldown. He's going to be able to affect these side lanes, and I think he really needs to affect these side lanes, kind of relieve some pressure. So if Hunter can, you know, get into that lane, get this Malzahar ahead and kind of free him up to roam around.
Bandit, yeah, could be caught here. Going for the early. Mountain Drake is going to lose the smite fight to Hunter. Does he get the kill? Going very low, but his team has arrived. Good shockwave, and that's first blood over to the Orianna. Now the whole team has come down. They've collapsed. Wombat goes down, and that's 2 kills for none in favor of KAW Knights. A good early play as Hanti went aggressive and stole the Drake, but lost his life for it.
Extremely well played by KAW Knights. Warwick is definitely really good at taking early dragons, and good on Hunter for being able to kind of infer that and spot it out. But unfortunately, KAW Knights was faster on kind of rotating and collapsing on that play, and they're able to pick up the kills.
Yeah, did use the teleport there from Gnarly Brood to assist in that fight, and I think a big part of it as well was their bot lane had priority to roam up to Drake since they were pushing so heavily. So it's going to be very difficult for Unlucky Crit and Zinski to join the team at Dragon Pit. And it turns out to be a good fight win there for KAW Knights to give them an early lead.
And I didn't quite notice, but I think Prayer might have also just been chunked out by Gnarly Brood quite previous to that fight. So right there, you kind of see the effect that these, you know, pushing side laners have. They're able to kind of keep the enemy team from really having the ability to join these fights. And so Reborn Gaming has to be very careful about the plays they try to make in the early game.
Now, as we see, level 6 is coming up for the solo laners right now. Wombat will have access to that ultimate, so we could see Hunty possibly try and make a gank on the middle lane here in the near future. Still at level 4, though. Does need to be careful. Down on levels to Bandit, yeah, who will be at level 6 here very, very soon, and looking to get access to that ultimate and affect some of these lanes.
And we see his teleport is down, but he does have unsealed spellbooks, so that will be back up very shortly. And we'll see if he's able to push in his lane and maybe make a play around the map. KAW Knights, though, have done a really good job setting up vision to protect their side laners. You see there's plenty of control wards around the bushes surrounding their side laners, and so there's not a whole lot of options for, you know, for the Maokai to make a TP in, for the Malzahar to make a TP in. We do see one ward in the bush on the bot side, but other than that, you know, they've done a really good job setting up some protective vision and allowing these side laners to, you know, just bully their opponents and push up.
Yeah, certainly understanding that the playstyle that they're going to go for in lane is very risky, and doing adequate preparation to allow them to force those advantages. Bandit, yeah, coming in aggressively. Flashes over the wall, ults under the tower, forces out the stopwatch of
Great
Wombat.
stopwatch.
Yeah, good counterplay there from the Malzahar to save his life.
But also that
a little
is,
over-aggressive from Bandit, yeah, in my opinion. Using his flash and ultimate just for the stopwatch.
Yeah, I don't like the trade for the flash there. I think if you just kind of walk in, maybe ult, pressure that engage, try to bait out that stopwatch, but it is down now. Kind of blown that UC might be able to look for a return gank. And that's the power of that item. That's kind of everywhere now. See, we have 3 stopwatches on the side of gaming.
Gnarly Brood actually whiffing the ultimate there. Oh, good flash! Forces Prayer. Prayer wants to re-engage as Gnarly Brood was under his tower, but after the Twisted Advance is activated, Gnarly Brood flashing out of range of the tower to help secure that kill. And gets the solo kill in the top lane. Great play there by Gnarly Brood to understand the interaction between himself and that Twisted Advance. And now Bandit, yeah, getting in here onto Hunty. Ooh, gonna get quite a bit of damage here. Now Hunty just gonna retreat under his tower. Has used the Glacial Prison. Oh, Gnarly Brood could be in big trouble here. He is about to go Mega. Stopwatch used by Hunty there. And looks like Bandit, yeah, has gone down. Vitalis going very aggressive now under the tower. Uses his stopwatch, but is gonna go down. The ultimate from Wombat will secure the kill, and an over-aggressive misplay there by KAW Knights. Now Gnarly Brood running for his life. And looks like he will be able to get away.
That is one thing I had mentioned, is that it is hard to dive this team of Reborn Gaming. You have the Maokai, who's very tanky, has a lot of CC, disengage, and I think once you saw the teleport coming through there, you just have to kind of decide to back off and just let the gank go, because once that Maokai comes in, he's going to be able to lock you down under the turret, and he's going to be able to peel for his allies. So very well played
here in the 2v2. Gamer is saved by the heal of Wild Dog. Wild Dog actually flashes away from the stun, trying to avoid death here. Ooh, but the Satchel Charge could take him down. It's going to blow up. Oh,
take them both down.
The stopwatch will save his life. Can he take down Unlucky? Crit? Almost, but the stopwatch will save his life.
Oh, no.
As Wild Dog will actually go down here. Teleport coming in from the blue team. Unlucky Crit going to try and run away, but it's not going to be enough. Here comes Gnarly Brood. Gamer uses the stopwatch. It's League of Stopwatch, folks. Gamer is still alive. Now Hunty trying to retreat. Bloodset is on. Ultimate for Bandit, yeah, will land. They're going to take down the Sejuani, and the kill goes over to the support. That was 3 stopwatches used throughout that fight. And there will be no more available in the bot lane.
People are just blowing these left and right, and there was... Wow, if you see there, Wild Dog Satan so close on being able to take down Lucky Crit, did unfortunately miss the Varus Q that would have procced the Blight stacks and taken him down. But unfortunately, Unlucky Crit jumping into the turret onto Gamer as he stopwatches. But just stopwatches left and right here, every which way. Great teleport by Gnarly Brood coming in to assist on that fight. And you know, I think we might be out of stopwatches now.
At least until people pick up their Zhonya's, yeah, we will have no stasis effects. But
so
we did see Bandit, yeah, grab that Infernal Drake.
Yes, that's a very good pickup on the side of KAW Knights. Kind of.
Gnarly Brood going here for the kill in the 1v1, and the Twisted Advance will not do any good. Gnarly Brood gets the 1v1 kill on Prayer, and he's 4-0-1 on this Gnar.
And this is what I was talking about. This is Gnarly Brood's signature champion. He knows these matchups, and not only are you giving him one of his best champions, you're also picking a low mobility tank into it. I think that was a very gutsy call on the side of RGB or RBG, and they're getting punished for it. Gnarly Brood taking this area, just able to continuously dominate this lane. And because he's had such a great lane, he's been able to use this teleport to go around the map and kind of spread his advantage and join these team fights, and Prayer hasn't been able to do that on this Maokai.
Yeah, and Gnarly Brood certainly building for the 1v1. He takes the Aerie, has also built Black Cleaver here as his first item, so looking to just continue and dominate this Maokai on the top side. He's about to go Mega here. We could see a fight as that top lane tier 1 is very, very low.
Yeah, I would expect him to, from here, go into that Frozen Mallet and just kind of be that annoying split pusher where you always have to send someone up to the top lane, but you can't just send the Maokai, because with the Frozen Mallet and with the Black Cleaver, he won't be able to survive against that Gnar, and he won't be able to protect those turrets. So then you have to send more than one player up to the top side, which really opens up the map for the rest of KAW Knights to take objectives, place down vision, steal buffs, and just kind of starve Reborn Gaming of all their resources.
And honestly, at this point, once Gnarly Brood's able to grab that Frozen Mallet, there will be nobody on Reborn that can handle him in the 1v1.
No.
And even in a 2v1, you'll have to dedicate, you know, the Malzahar or the Tristana. Otherwise, you just won't have enough damage to deal with this Gnar, who is just so ahead right now. So certainly going to have to figure out how to deal with that Yordle in the side lane here over the next few minutes. And we do have both junglers around the mid lane right now. Could possibly see a play. Does Vitalis get caught by the Sejuani right now? He is in vision. They're moving their way over. Ooh, Vitalis could be in big trouble here. But he's able to retreat as Bandit, yeah, has moved down to his red side jungle to grab that red buff.
I would also like to point out that this bot lane on the side of Reborn Gaming has been doing a very good job farming under turret and kind of surviving this poke lane. Eventually this Tristana, if she is allowed to scale up, will be a monster in the late game and just kind of be able to solo carry these fights if she is allowed to get to that 6-item point. And she's doing a good job. She's only down 3 farm. They haven't lost a lot of damage on their turret yet, and I'm really good for them for being able to survive this Zyra Varus lane, because that can be a very tough lane to go against.
Yeah, and I think almost even more. Oh, as we do get the gank in the middle lane, the Wombo combos. Bandit, yeah, ults under turret. Shockwave is used, and Wombat will go down, but oh, Bandit, yeah, is going to lose his life here. The Glacial Prison lands, and the Warwick is dead as Vitalis is now forced to retreat, possibly away from this mid lane tower. Needs to be careful, although he does have Gnarly Brood roaming down for assistance, but it's a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane, mid laner for jungler.
Good play by KAW Knights to pressure that Malzahar, get under his turrets. Unfortunate that Hunter was there for them to pick up that side kill. Good for him
to get a fight in the bot lane here, as well as the Varus ultimate will land, and Tarek not able to get the ultimate down quick enough to save his AD carry's life, and they will take down Unlucky Crit and now be able to put some pressure onto this tower. And I did want to mention even a little extra credit to the Reborn Gaming bot lane, even after losing Unlucky Crit there. This is a dual lane that hasn't been playing together. You mentioned before that we did have a free agent AD carry coming in for Reborn, and you know, still Zinski and Unlucky Crit able to work together despite a lack of experience and a lack of games played together. They've certainly shown up and played well in this early game.
They've been able to do that very well. Unfortunately, Unlucky Crit is hit by a CC there, and you know, the side of KAW Knights is just able to pile on that CC. Isn't able to get the Tarek ult down fast enough, just blows up. Did have the heal though, so there was that option. He might have just thought that he wouldn't be able to survive anyway, or maybe he thought the Tarek ult would come through in time. But did save that summoner for the next fight.
Yeah, we do have KAW Knights will take down the Rift Herald, Gnarly Brood, and Bandit, yeah, taking that one down together. So that will just create some more map pressure here as all of the Tier 1 towers of Reborn Gaming are down, which means that they have access to the second tier along with a Rift Herald. Could really put a lot of pressure onto Reborn here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, and we see Varus, Wild Dog Satan on that Varus has completed Rage Blade, and it looks like he's going into a Wit's End after that. Rage Blade plus Wit's End is a very early power spike for Varus, allows him a lot of dueling potentials. So we will probably
Bandit, yeah, could be caught here. Walks right into the Malzahar, eats the ultimate, is going to go down here. Wombat takes the kill. Here comes the teleport from Pear. Oh, here's the Shockwave. Lands on 3 members, takes some low. Vitalis will take down Wombat. Now they're flashing away, trying to get away from the Maokai. He's getting just laid into by Wild Dog. Ult from Gnarly Brood will lock down the Maokai, and he goes down. Wild Dog takes the kill. An 11-5 lead. A 3-for-1 trade in favor of KAW Knights, and they will turn and get their second Infernal Drake of the game.
And you start to see the power of that wombo combo that KAW Knights has set up. You start off with the beautiful 3-man Zyra knockup right after the ult from Bandit, yeah. And then after that, Orianna isn't in the fight yet, but she comes in afterwards and lands a great shockwave. And the Gnarly Brood after that comes in and lands a beautiful ultimate to shove them against the wall. And you can just imagine if all three of those abilities are just piled on one on top of another, there's really no hope for that team of Reborn Gaming.
Yeah, certainly a very, very threatening composition to run into in a choke point, so we're going to certainly have to play a lot more careful here and try and avoid funneling themselves into tight spaces against this KAW Knights lineup. And, you know, you talked about the late game scaling of that Tristana, and I guess the big problem here is while she will certainly scale up in the late game, the two Infernal Drakes that KAW has been able to grab will even that out a bit. It's going to make their scaling that much more threatening, and certainly is going to make this give them a better bridge to that late game fight as they look to try to set up some vision around the Baron here at nearly 20 minutes into the game.
And I would like to applaud KAW Knights' vision around the map. They have been, if you just look at the wards, they have been very good at taking their objectives and just clearing out all the vision around them. And it paid off in that last fight. You saw Reborn Gaming went all in when they thought they had picked out the Warwick, but the entire team was just behind them. And so Reborn Gaming has to be very careful when they are choosing these picks, because if you don't see the rest of the enemy team and you fall into the trap of the wombo combo, it can be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and you can see Reborn very, very terrified of this Gnar right now. Has grabbed the Frozen Mallet as well as the Merc Tread, so he is certainly very scary to deal with and has been able to essentially zone off the entire Reborn lineup from the Baron Pit. They have dropped the Rift Herald there in the mid lane. A good play here is that Reborn will have to deal with
this
that.
Play. I think it's a very smart use of Herald, dropping it in the mid lane, seeing the enemy team to react, and then immediately rushing to the Baron, and you already have an immediate on it. You will see, could be a 50-50 smite. Nope. Varus will secure it.
Yep, Baron
A bit
Nashor.
of a miss smite by Bandit, yeah.
Baron over to KAW Knights here. And that's just going to be even more threatening. They did get the charge from the Rift Herald on that tier 2 in mid lane. So that is certainly weaker than it was. And now with these Baroned up minion waves, they're going to look to break this tier 2 line of towers in the next couple of minutes.
And I haven't seen Wombat on this Malzahar roam around quite as much as I would have liked. He has teleport on the reduced cooldown as well as the flash, but he just really hasn't been able to get out of his lane due to this Warwick and this Orianna just kind of pushing him in. Would have liked to see a little more jungle presence from Hunter there to release some of that pressure and allow him to roam around the map, try to get an advantage, but unfortunately, KAW Knights just didn't let him do it.
We see KAW Knights trying to force down this middle lane and take that tier 2 tower. Stunned is Bandit, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Tower goes down as Gnarly Brood is now in the side lane, trying to take the tower in the bottom lane, and Hunty doesn't seem like he can even contest that as Gnarly Brood just continues to push.
And we do have a very good siege comp on the side of KAW Knights. That Orianna ball always threatening to pull off that shockwave. The Zyra plants, the ultimate, able to CC.
And they are going to go in on Zinsky. The ultimate from Bandit, yeah, will lock down the support, and they secure the kill as they will look to force down their first inhibitor tower. Ooh, shockwave and comboed with the Zyra will land on Hunty. Very, very low. Wild Dog taken down less than 25% of his health, and Vitalis actually too aggressive. The tower shot will take him down, so 4v3 here, but KAW Knights still very scary and will continue to push. We do have a disconnect, however, here, so a pause coming out here from KAW Knights as their AD carry did disconnect. We are going to try and resolve this momentarily, get back into game, folks, but Audio, I just want you to talk to me real fast about these team compositions. We've essentially seen KAW Knights play out exactly like they wanted to. What do you think the big fault from Reborn Gaming has been over the last 10 minutes as we've seen KAW essentially run away with this game?
Well, I think the fault actually lied mostly in champ select. Reborn Gaming drafted 3 losing lanes, and when you do that, you have to be able to get your jungler to roam around the map and kind of relieve some of that pressure. And I just really haven't seen Hunter able to do that. He hasn't been, I think, he hasn't been mid, especially I think if you can get that Malzahar to kind of get out of that lane and be able to roam to the side lanes, maybe shut down that Gnar, maybe help that Tristana and the Taric push out that Varus and Zyra. I think that can be kind of your way out of these 3 losing lanes that you have drafted, but Hunter just hasn't been able to get into any of the side lanes really and relieve any of that pressure. And although yes, he will be super tanky in the late game, and as long as with the Maokai and the Taric, I mean, it doesn't really help if you can't get to that late game because you're getting stomped in every single lane. So I think really just not the greatest draft, and the composition that they did pick just wasn't executed very well. Not enough map pressure, not enough vision, and they just kind of lost all of their lanes. And now they're suffering, they're paying the price for it.
Alright, well, we do have Wild Dog reconnected now. Hopefully going to be back in the game here in a moment. But we are 23 minutes into this game, and seeing KAW Knights looking to break the base of Reborn Gaming, kind of a trend that we've seen throughout the start of this season. We saw a couple of very quick games last night between No Name Necessary and Team Royal Luck. So a very snowbally meta right now, where if these teams are able to build an early lead, they certainly have the opportunities to drive that lead home very quickly if they continue to play aggressively.
You can see the power of the comp that KAW Knights has drafted. They're very good at sieging the grid. That Taric just stepped a little too far forward, was caught by the Zyra root, and then just piled on the CC. And it can be hard to kind of defend turrets against these teams, where if you make one wrong step, you can be locked down, and you really have no way to survive. And I think KAW Knights have done a fantastic job kind of using their comp. They got the early snowball, or they got their laners ahead, and they kind of grouped and used their advantage to just roll over Reborn Gaming. I think Reborn Gaming at this point has to just kind of concede their turret and possibly even their inhibitor. They have their support down for another 10 seconds. Wombat is going to be dead for almost another 30. And I think you just kind of have to let that structure go, let that objective go, and try to regroup and, make plays elsewhere. Because I think continuing to defend this inhibitor could be problematic for them. It was a good defense, though. I did like that ultimate out of the Malzahar, got onto the Varus under the turret while he had turret aggro, almost took him down. Orianna Ball was able to give him a shield in time to get out. Unlucky crit, able to take down Vitalis on that Orianna with the turret aggro and the static shiv procs. So it was a good defense by them, and I would like to see more of that from them.
Alright, folks, well, stick with us here momentarily. I'm going to go investigate what is going on with this pause issue, but we will be back momentarily with this match between KAW Knights and Reborn Gaming.
We're back into game.
Just kidding, folks, we're back! Bet y'all thought I was going to disappear for a few minutes. I gotcha. Alright, we're glad to have this pause issue resolved. And KAW Knights will take the inhibitor tower and just retreat from there. They do have a little bit of time left on that Baron buff, so can possibly look to take one more objective here, but they will come back out onto the map after backing and buying.
We can see that Malzahar with its Unsealed Spellbook has swapped over from teleport to the heal. I would like to have seen a cleanse out of him. There is a lot of lockdown CC on the side of Kawaii Knights, but either way, it is good of him to pick a more defensive summoner spell now that they are starting to get into this later stage team fights, and he's not able to use his teleport as much to around the map. He needs to stay alive in these fights and put out some of the consistent damage as one of the only 2 damage threats on the side of Reborn Gaming.
And here's something very scary for Reborn Gaming. The next Drake that spawns in 20 seconds is another Infernal. And Kawaii Knights just have a stranglehold on the vision on that side of the map. So Reborn is going to be hard-pressed to contest this, which essentially means a free 3rd Infernal for Kawaii Knights, who is already a very, very scary team right now, and add even more of that percentage increase on their damage. Oh my goodness, I would be terrified to see that team running into my base.
And I think at this point, the lead is starting to become insurmountable. A 12,000 gold lead on the side of Kawaii Knights, on top of the gold value you're getting out of those triple Infernals. We could see Gnarly Brew getting collapsed on, though. Good flash from him.
Yeah, avoids the Glacial Prison there as it came over the wall, so good on him to get that flash out before getting locked down. Certainly would have still been difficult to take down in that fight, but smart to stay alive and be able to maintain that side lane pressure as the rest of his team is looking to possibly try and take an inhibitor here. If I'm Kawaii Knights, I'd probably try and group up as 5 in the top lane and push for that inhibitor tower. I mean, your strength is certainly very much on this Gnar. Not that the rest of the team is any slouch, but a lot of your team fighting power is with that threat of the engage, and you're going to be very, very squishy without him around.
And Gnar does have the Guardian's Angel now, so even if he dies in and Reborn Gaming is able to take him out, he will be right back up after that Channel of Stasis. So he's very hard to deal with right now. Very strong, 5-0, has 3 completed items plus tier 2 boots. He's going to be a huge problem in these fights. Reborn Gaming. Good on Hunter getting the flash out of the Zyra there. Although, unfortunately for them, there's still many options for engage.
And now with Baron spawning in a minute and a half here, gonna see Kawaii Knights gonna try and set up some more vision around that objective, because that could be the final nail in the coffin for Reborn here in game number 1. Another Baron buff would spell probably the end of all 3 of those inhibitors.
We can see this Zyra building into the Leandri's Torment at the moment. Already finished O'Reilly's Crystal Scepter. She's going to have a lot of ability power on her, and it's just going to add to that team fight damage. Those AoE plants, her ultimate is going to really start chunking out even these tanks with the... She does have Sork Shoes and the Magic Pen from the Leandri's Torment. These 3 frontline tanks that Reborn has drafted aren't going to be so tanky against that. We have Armor Shred on the side of Gnarly Brood's Black Cleaver. We have not a lot of Magic Pen out of the Orianna yet. She does have the Sork Shoes. Might be building into a Void Staff with that Blasting Wand. And then all of the Magic Pen on this coming through from Zyra.
We are going to see a fight here in the bottom lane. Gnarly Brood caught out by the Wombat ultimate. Ooh, the ultimate from him trying to knock back the team. He will take out his Guardian Angel passive there, but just have to immediately run away as the rest of the team has moved on to that mid lane inhibitor. Shockwave will catch 3. Taric ultimate is down, so they will survive a little longer. The disengage, however, Glacial Prison will miss. Buster Shot will knock the Warwick over the wall, and Vitalis is in big trouble. He could be caught, but Reborn is too scared to go back in for this fight. Their carries Wombat very low here. An unlucky crit without the Buster Shot anymore is certainly a lot more susceptible to being caught. Ooh, the burst coming out from Vitalis, and he will actually take down unlucky crit. Steps up too far, and the Tristana will go down. And with a minion wave crashing in the bottom lane, could look to take that, but they are instead going to retreat back to the Baron. and look to take that one out without the 80 carry of Reborn alive.
Great defense though by Reborn Gaming. The hard ultimate, absolutely beautiful. Able to negate the entire wombo combo of Kawaii Knights, keeping the entire team alive. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at them, but they aren't able. I think if that Tarek ultimate hadn't come down on the entire team, we might be seeing and Nexus falling instead of a Baron right now. But unfortunately, with the gold deficit that they are at right now, Reborn Gaming just isn't able to turn that great defense into anything. They're just too far behind. They can't push after all the ultimates are blown, and they still have to give up the Baron, but they do hold on to their base.
They do hold on to their base for now, but it certainly could be on a very, very short shelf life at this moment, as that Baron buff going over to Kawaii Knights. Add on those 3 Infernal Drakes, and they're possibly looking to end the game here with one last fight and push. 3 members have moved up to the top side of the bottom lane, as well as the jungler looking for a 1-1-3 at this moment, with Vitalis in the mid lane and Gnarly Brutes Gnar down on the bot side. Can Reborn defend this?
Gnarly Brute does have his teleport available, and Orianna will have hers fairly spellbook and the reduced cooldown, although she's just going to roam up with her team and just set up a 4-1 push. It's Baroned up minions crashing into the base.
And now they are going to send Hunty down to try and deal with this Gnar, but it may not be enough. The 4-man squad now crashing into that inhibitor tower. Ultimate onto the Warwick, but the shockwave will catch 2, and down goes Wombat. He is dead. The Taric ultimate will save Unlucky Crit for now, and here comes Hunty. The Glacial Prism will actually take down the Warwick. They could possibly win this fight. Double kill the Wild Dog is going to get the triple. Vitalis knocked away, but it doesn't matter. They will take down all 5 members. The ace for Kawaii Knights. They will take down this inhibitor, and this could be the win. First game over to Kawaii Knights.
The game. Gnarly Brute's already got an entire wave of Baroned up minions on the Nexus, and that's it.
Yep, Nexus will go down. Kawaii Knights takes game 1 and the early lead in this series against Reborn Gaming.
Fantastic game by Kawaii Knights. They had a brilliant draft phase and they executed it perfectly. They had a great wombo combo, 3 winning lanes, and were able to use those advantages, move around the map very well. Lots of good TP plays coming out of Gnarly Brood, showing off his mastery on that champion. An absolute dominating performance by him, 5-0-2 unkilled, and just a absolutely stunning performance by Kawaii Knights.
Yeah, I think they were great across the board. We talked about the synergy in the bot lane. They looked very good in the laning phase. I will say credit, as we talked about, to Unlucky Crit and Zinski for absorbing the early poke and pressure from the Kawaii Knights bottom lane. But Vitalis with some great shockwaves at multiple points in this game. Bandit, playing very aggressive, continuing to engage for his team. And Gnarly Brood, just a force in the side lanes, continued to just hammer in that advantage, and 5-0-2 would certainly have my vote for MVP for that first game. And I think that Gnar is certainly going to have to be banned here in the draft for game number 2.
I think I would definitely agree. It is his star champion. He has more games on it than any other right now and has absolutely incredibly high win rate on him. Very good at being able to punish his laner, push out that lane, and just kind of roam around the map. And I think if you don't ban it away, then you need to have something that can punish him in the lane instead, and then bring up some jungler attention. So if Reborn Gaming in this next game is not willing to, either take that away or ban it out, then they need to have a plan to stop it. I would like to give another round of applause to Unlucky Crit, though. Absolutely astonishing damaging numbers, 17,000 damage in that game, only 1,000 less than the Orianna or the Zyra, 3rd highest damage in the game. So although he was put into a very bad matchup and doesn't synergize well with his team, he had a very exemplary performance.
right, well, we should be into game number 2 here momentarily. Don't have to wait long as the lobby is up. Make sure to join that one, audio.
Yep.
We will prepare here for game number 2 between these teams.
Everything changes.
Life. Life.
Alrighty, folks, and we are back here. Going to get into game number 2 momentarily. We have all the players in the lobby, and with KAW Knights taking that first game pretty handily, we're going to have to see just what kind of adjustments in the draft phase we will see from Reborn Gaming. They will swap sides, so Reborn has chosen blue side in game number 2. So we will see KAW Knights on the red side, and it'll be interesting to see what Reborn prioritizes with that first pick. and see how they adjust to see if they can bounce back from a rough first game.
I really think they need to draft some champions that can have some more laning pressure. They kind of just, surrendered the early game in that first game and drafted 3 losing lanes, and then Hunter wasn't able to get around the map and relieve enough pressure in all 3 of those lanes, and I think that really put them at a disadvantage. So I would like to see some stronger laners out of the side of Reborn Gaming, taking a more proactive early game, taking their fate into their own hands, not just sitting back and waiting for their scaling to come through. Because although that can be an effective strategy, I don't think KAW Knights is a team to just let them scale. The Gnar pick was also extremely effective for Gnarly Brood. Probably gonna see that bring some attention, either a ban, steal away, or maybe Reborn Gaming has nothing to deal with it. But was definitely a big problem in the first game. Bullied that Maokai to no end, just shoved him out of the lane, and then roamed all around the map, just being a huge nuisance. Great job on Gnarly Brood in that game, and I think that Reborn Gaming just needs to have something to do with it. If you don't take it away, you can't let Gnarly Brood back on that champion. Or you're just asking for a bad time.
Alright, we do have readies coming out from KAW Knights. Should be into game here in just a moment. Make sure I have my button ready so I bring up draft so you guys aren't staring at a blank screen. Because I tend to do that a lot. You guys did want to see draft, right?
No, you just want to listen to our beautiful voices, so.
I mean, we can give them plenty of that if they like. We can do our little ASMR cast. And as they push down the middle lane with Baron buff. I'm just waiting for Twitch chat to tilt on my ASMR casting. Oh, there it is. God no, stop. Pyros and Puck, I love you guys. Don't worry, that's all you get. That's all you get. Don't worry. It's not staying.
Pyros and Puck, shout out to them for saving us all. All right, we are into the draft now.
Wired Sponge seems to like it, guys. Don't need to flame me. It's alright, I'll give Pyros all the ASMR he can handle when we play PUBG later. Okay, so
Thresh and the Shen band coming out, staying with the same bands as the first game. Let's see if Reborn Gaming bans out that Gnar, or if they think that they have something to take care of it.
yeah, gonna have to see if they do ban out the Gnar, or maybe they leave it open and first pick it themselves. Could be an interesting strategy.
Xerath, definitely a high priority pick. Very annoying mid laner to deal with. He can just sit way back under his turret and poke you down all game. KAW Knights not wanting to deal with that Malzahar anymore. Did get quite a few good picks with his ultimate and was able to kind of stall out some fights. Good takeaway there. Bat.
And what will this third ban be from Reborn?
Will it be the Gnar?
No, that tells me they want to first pick it. If they don't first pick it here, they either totally miscalculated or they have something else that they want to pick into it. But I definitely would not want to take that Maokai again into the Gnar.
Definitely not. I think they definitely should pick it away here. If they don't, they not only give away the Gnar, but they also give away a second priority pick, possibly. Bandit, might choose to go on a even stronger early game jungler that can just come up and bully that Gnar. They do opt for the KAW though.
This has got to be a Gnar pick.
Yep, there's Gnarly Brood. His Gnar. Kog'Maw definitely a high priority champion right now. Can really do an incredible amount of damage in these fights, but is also very squishy, very able. And KAW Knight's picking up that Lulu to try to help pressure him out of lane.
That's a
Make sure he-
huge steal away from Reborn. Lulu comboed with that Kog'Maw is such
Absolutely.
a strong duo lane, especially when you get into fights. Now, Janna's certainly no slouch comboed with it, but the Wild Growth is just so effective on the Kog'Maw. So a
Absolutely
good steal
is.
away there by KAW Knights in the draft, grabbing the Lulu.
As well as Lulu able to add more of that on-hit damage to Kog'Maw, built a lot of on-hit damage himself with the Rage Blade and the Wit's End, possibly the Blade of the Ruined King, and the Lulu on top of that, giving him attack speed and giving him those picks auto attacks. But it looks like Reborn Gaming again looking for that late game scaling, trying to just keep their carries alive, and KAW Knight says, no, we're not going to have any of that. We're going to pick some early game champs and make sure you can't get there.
Yeah, definitely picking towards that Juggernaut comp is Reborn Gaming with the Orianna and Janna to try and protect Unlucky Crit on the Kog'Maw. Interesting to see them building a composition around that free agent pickup, but certainly played very well in that first game, so could be a very good idea here, as Xayah is the last pick for KAW Knights here in the first phase, and now moving into the ban phase, we will see probably junglers banned away, as that Sejuani is dropped by KAW Knights, and could focus junglers as well, or a mid lane pool by Reborn.
Xayah, good pickup for KAW Knights, just another layer on top of their Wombo combo, able to use that ultimate, the Feather Storm, and get a possibility for not only a lot of burst damage, but a lot of CC. Good takeaway what the Wombat on that Orianna, though, not able to throw that into their comp. You can also protect the Kog'Maw. I would have liked to see... We'll see what these last two picks are for Reborn Gaming. I would like to see some frontline for them. Their comp right now was very squishy, and KAW Knights does have a lot of damage with the Xayah and the Lulu. So I would like to see some more frontline and some engage for them.
To be honest, right now, I would actually not be surprised if Reborn picked the Maokai again. They need to now pick a frontline to protect this Juggernaut composition that they've built, and it would still lose to the Gnar, but I would honestly not be surprised if they pick that again. But I mean, what would you like to see them pick in that top lane, tank-wise, that could maybe better deal with the Gnar in the laning phase, and then be that strong front line for the Kog'Maw?
You know, I think you might be on the right track. There's not, you're gonna need that front line for the Kog'Maw because you did opt for a squishier support in the Janna. So Maokai wouldn't be a horrible pick. He does have a lot of sustain. The Cho'Gath might work well too. Cho'Gath can kind of disengage pretty well with his Rupture. Shyvana picked up as a jungler. I do like that pick, actually. Lots of damage, is very tanky towards the later stages of the game, but does also have a lot of damage potential to kind of go up top and help relieve that pressure against the Gnar.
And it looks like they may... Are they going to take the Maokai? They will. Look at me
All right.
calling that there. I think it's honestly not a great pick.
Call.
I don't know if the Malphite would have been much better. I mean, he certainly does itemize heavily on the armor, and that would be fairly good. And actually, with this Zed pick, the Malphite actually could have been an amazing pick into this composition, but they will stick with the Maokai, which almost guarantees Prayer to lose laning phase one more time. But we will have to see just how this pans out, as Gragas and Zed were the last two picks for KAW Knights. There's certainly going to be a timer on that composition, as they will not have a lot of magic damage moving into the mid and late game.
Great call on the Maokai, although I have to agree, I do not like the pick. Not only because is it going to lose to that Gnar pretty heavily, but also if you look at the composition right now of Reborn Gaming, they have a lot of magic damage on their team. Oriana, their mid laner, is a hyper carry late game, but she's magic damage. KAW on that W does max health, but that is also magic damage. The Maokai, he is AP. Really, the only AD is coming out from the Shyvana, but I would expect her to go a little tankier to help be a front line for that KAW if they really want to balance around him. So with the Gnar and the Gragas coming over on the side of KAW Knights, I feel is all they have to do is build 1 or 2 items of magic resist, and they're going to become very, very hard to kill.
Yeah, I would say the tanks for both of these teams, their builds are pretty straightforward. Like the Maokai, just build all armor. All armor,
Yes.
all game, become a beast. And then the Gragas just heavily itemized into the magic resist. Their builds should be pretty straightforward, and they should both be absolute beasts in the late game here. I guess it just looks like which team can bring a lead from the early game into the mid game will be set up very well to win this, but we're going to have to see just how this one shakes out here in game number 2.
Again, though, Reborn Gaming drafting that late game composition, but they also have drafted 3 losing lanes. That Maokai is going to get shoved in. We saw how that matchup went in the last game. Gnarly Brood should be able to dominate that matchup. Oriana versus Zed. Once Zed gets that ultimate, it's going to become very risky for that Oriana. And KAW is not a very great early game champion. He does actually have a decently high win rate in games under 30 minutes right now, but with the Xayah and Lulu, 2 very strong lane bullies, really going to be looking at Hunter once again to see if he can get into those side lanes, get into the mid lane, see if he can relieve some of that pressure and help get his carries to their late game state. Because if he can't, I think KAW Knights is just going to roll over in the early game again.
Yeah, we're certainly going to have to see just how this one shakes out. I think the draft is... I don't know. I don't think I like this draft from Reborn any better than I liked the one in the first game. I think getting the Gnar as well as the Xayah Lulu is certainly great for KAW. I don't know if I agree with the Zed in the mid lane. I think you could have gone for... more of a mage pick there, but we're certainly going to have to see how Vitalis plays that. But I would have liked more magic damage from KAW there in their last pick, but we will have to see how it plays out. But I certainly think KAW won the draft again here for game number 2, and we're going to have to see if they can bring that advantage onto the Rift and try and get a 2-0 sweep here over Reborn Gaming.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to be looking at that bot lane. If that KAW falls behind to this Xayah and the Reborn Gaming is in trouble, because that is they've kind of built this composition around their KAW, the Oriana and the Janna, to just kind of protect him. So I expect a lot of jungle presence in that bot lane. Bandit, is going to be looking to come down and help pressure him, and the jungler on the side of Reborn Gaming is going to be doing the same, trying to come down and relieve some of that pressure. And if they are able to put this KAW behind, it's going to be a huge blow to the composition of Reborn Gaming. We do see Fleet Footwork on KAW. It's one of the 2 most popular keystones for him. It's either that Fleet Footwork or the Lethal Tempo. Lethal Tempo much better at shredding those tanks, but Fleet Footwork a little more survivability in lane, a little more healing. Gnarly Brood again with that Aerie, just looking to punish out that Maokai. Get him out of the lane.
Welcome to
All right, folks. Well, we are on to the Rift for game number 2 between Reborn Gaming and the KAW Knights here, after KAW Knights took game 1 in very convincing fashion on the back of Gnarly Brood's Gnar, and he will get it here for a second time in this series. And gonna have to see if Reborn has figured out how to play into that. They certainly Certainly questionable picking the same top lane matchup that went so heavily in the favor of KAW Knights last time around, but just going to have to see how this one shakes out here. Pretty standard starts. Line of scrimmage set up by both teams just to ensure that there are no invades here at level 1. And it looks like the junglers will start on both the bot side of the map. As Shyvana will get the leash onto her red buff.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on Hunter this game. Like I said before, 3 losing lanes for the side of Reborn Gaming. We've really got to see. Shyvana is a good champion for putting pressure on those lanes. She can farm extremely quickly. One of the fastest farming junglers in the game, so we'll see if she can get a lead over Bandit, and kind of get into those lanes earlier and start to push some pressure on the enemies and relieve some pressure on her carries, because they should struggle in their lanes. You see a safer start coming out from Unlucky Crit with that Doran shield, getting that regen if he gets poked out too hard. And Vitalis in the middle lane, starting with the longsword and 3 pots, really wanting to bully out that Orianna.
It doesn't seem like he's been able to do it so far. Wombat with the early control in the lane with a 9-5 lead in the CS department and starting to push that Zed back into his tower.
Pretty slow start for both of the junglers. Neither of them decided to go any invades, any pushing into the enemy jungle for vision. They're just going to, looks like they're both going to go for level 3 clear. And then possibly, we do see both junglers hovering around the top side, taking their camps. So we might have a chance of seeing some action top lane. Hunter a little ahead on that clear as expected, has finished both of his buffs while Bandit, still working on that red. Shyvana has a lot of % max health damage when attacking those jungle monsters, can clear incredibly quickly.
Now it seems like Gnarly Brood wants to fight here, trying to chase down the Shyvana. His jungler mid laner collapsing. It looks like
much came out of it. Is kind of
just able to back away now. Bandit, just trying to get the poke and cancel that back as he does return to his side of the map.
I do like this from KAW Knights though, roaming in as that 3-man to just kind of, show up in that jungle, place a couple wards down and say, hey, Hunter, this is our side. We don't want you on this top. We want our Gnar to push out your Maokai. We don't want you interfering. And they just want to kind of put control on that top side of the map and just take it over. They've done a good job. Already some great early vision. You see a ward on the Gromp. You see 3 wards in that top side jungle. So we'll see if Hunter continues to try and go up there and help out that Maokai after he wants to look to pressure bot.
We could see Bandit, try to get into the mid lane here. He is sitting in that brush just on the bottom side of that lane. Ooh, Wombat could be in big trouble here if he steps up a little too far. No ultimates available, but here comes... Oh, there's the body slam flash and the ignite out. They do force out... Ooh. They do force out both summoner spells there for Wombat. So a good play as they can return gank. 2 for 2 summoner spells traded in that play, but that Orianna will be very, very susceptible to ganks over the next few minutes.
Absolutely. One thing you don't notice though on the side of KAW Knights is we're not exactly at the League of Stopwatch stage. One stopwatch on the side of Wild Dog Satan. So if they do decide to go for those dives, aggressive dives, they will have to be a little more careful juggling the turret aggro. Gnarly Brood starting a Doran's Blade this game, really looking to pressure out that Maokai. Doing a good job, already at a 10 CS lead, almost 6 minutes in. Just giving that Maokai a hard time.
Now the good thing here, after that gank to the mid lane, seems like Vitalis has been able to recover a couple levels under his belt and has now been able to build a small CS lead here, just 6 minutes into the game. So survived the early pressure from Wombat and gonna feel fairly confident at this point.
And we see again KAW Knights doing an excellent job putting down vision around the map. Their bottom side right now is lit up. Earlier on, they put a lot of vision in the top side jungle. It has since expired, but they're doing a really good job protecting their laners with lots of vision, making sure that they are free to be aggressive, to push up, to bully these, you know, weaker early game champions and make sure that they have a harder time getting their items and getting their scaling. So really good job on the side of KAW Knights. They're doing an excellent job with their vision control. Vitalis already back with his serrated Dirk, has a little bit of lethality. So we see some good poke onto Wild Dog Satan. They're almost down to half health. Is out of potions, although he does have the Doran's Blade to give him a little bit of lifesteal. Sustain. Prayer as well, 10 CS down, but he's doing a lot better this game. A 10 CS deficit isn't that much of a big deal against an R, and he's still pretty healthy. Has a lot of sustain with that Doran's Blade and his passive.
But here comes Gnarly Brood. He wants to get some more damage onto that Maokai, and Prayer just forced to retreat as we do have the ultimate activated from Vitalis in the mid lane. Can he take down Wombat? The stopwatch forced out, so will not be able to secure the kill. And the teleport actually coming in from Gnarly Brood. Surprised he didn't just cancel that once Hunty and Wombat backed away, but now he's going to just back and probably head back to his top lane. But a good job from Vitalis there to force out the stopwatch and make Wombat here very vulnerable. Oh, Bandit, yeah, with the spawning of the Raptor camp. Actually messes up the body slam as he attempted to go over the wall to catch out Wombat, but the play still will be available once he takes down that camp, so he may still go for this. They have to be careful, though. The Shyvana is nearby. Now, does he go in? He's gotten into the mid lane. Does not land the body slam, however, and Wombat just able to back off.
Was a good heads-up play by Hunter, though. He was around when that initial gank came in, was able to blow out Vitalis' flash and pull out Gnarly Brood's ultimate while saving his mid laner, so kudos to him for being able to stop a little bit of that aggression. We haven't seen as much action bot side as I thought we would have. Unlucky crit, about 15 CS down at the moment. Is doing a good job poking out his Wild Satan on the Xayah, but is falling a little far behind in farm.
Wild Dog needs to be careful here. Activates the ultimate. Just looked like she was stepping up a little too far in that little trade that she was having with Unlucky Crit, and ends up having to spend the ultimate there. Holding on to summoner spells, which is good, but
you have to be careful when you're fighting KAW in the early lane to watch out for his Q. If his Q hits you, it reduces your armor and your magic resist. So his KAW's trades early game can be deceptively one-sided because you have, if you get hit by that Q, you have reduced resistances in that trade. You take a lot more damage than you think you normally would. Wild Dog Satan finding that out the hard way. As he is back to, did get a good back off, able to buy a BF sword and a Warhammer, quite a bit of attack damage. We're going to bully out this lane some more. Zizki on the Shanna, though, able to complete her support item and get that Sight Stone built in, while Gamer does not yet have that option. So we'll see if maybe the Shanna can help regain some vision control around the bot side, because right now, KAW Knights just has it lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, seems like they do want to try and play around this early Ocean Drake and possibly secure that for themselves. Bandit, yeah, is backing right now, possibly then looking to move towards the Rift Herald. Otherwise, no real reason for him to back at this moment, but he does have his completed jungle item with the Cinderhole. Now, Unlucky Crit forced the back away here as Wild Dog trying to chase down. Doesn't have the ultimate available yet. Ooh, good ultimate. The quote-unquote insect play there from Zinski with the flash ultimate, knocking Wild Dog back towards his team and will force out both summoner spells from the Xayah there as Hunty was charging in with ultimate ready to go on the Shyvana.
Prayer able to get out some decent damage onto Gnarly Brood. Reborn Gaming is doing...
We are going to see the fight on the bot side. There's the body slam flash, and first blood goes to Bandit. Yeah, as they are able to take down Unlucky Crit's KAW. That continued vision control from the side of KAW Knights, able to help them secure that kill once Hunty left the bottom lane.
Unlucky Crit once again dying with the flash and heal available, as well as a stopwatch, just not giving it over enough respect to that body slam flash. Zinski, though, has been playing very well in this early game, been able to get a lot of really good shields onto the KAW, keep him relatively safe for the most part. He's done a good job poking out this Xayah and Lulu. That kill in the bot lane will net Reborn Gaming a Ocean Drake. Sorry, KAW Knights an Ocean Drake. Reborn Gaming did not secure the Drake. The KAW Knights. That's going to help them stay in lane longer, kind of regen that health, regen that mana, and just continue poking down their lane opponents. We see Hunter on Shyvana is doing a very good job out farming this Bandit. Bandit, yeah, on Gragas.
In Prayer, Gnarly Brood just continuing to trade in this top lane. Gnarly Brood has Meganar ready. Ooh, Prayer's got to be in trouble. This could be a dive. Does he go for it? He does not. He backs away just as he goes Meganar. That was very close. If Prayer had stepped up a little farther, he most likely would have lost his life in that 1v1. But now Gnarly Brood will just get a big minion wave, able to crash into the tower, and it will end up forcing out Prayer's teleport as he does not want to miss any of that CS. And now Vitalis going in aggressively on Wombat, forces out. Ooh, and the shockwave will actually make Vitalis have to back away.
Vitalis almost picking up the kill on the back end. Wombat with the Qs coming out from the shadow. Wombat slinking away with a very low health bar.
Yeah, having to use his barrier again to save his life. If not for that summoner spell, that easily would have been Vitalis' first kill of the game there for the Zed, but continuing to play aggressive and force Wombat to use his summoner spells and ultimate on Vitalis' clock. Now Prayer, oh, Bandit, yeah, misses the body slam, but will land the ultimate. Prayer flashes over the wall, but Gnarly Brood with a good prediction. He's possibly... Oh, he's not going to be able to go Mega soon enough. Hunty going to chase him down. Prayer getting onto him as well, and the Shyvana will actually get the kill, and they're going to go for Bandit. Yeah, can Vitalis get here to help him? The Gragas is fairly tanky, and Prayer and Hunty will just back away. Wombat here to help, but the Gragas will escape a little too over-aggressive there from Gnarly Brood. Did not have the Meganar ready. If he had, that could have easily been a 2-for-0 in favor of KAW Knights, but overplayed his hand and ends up losing his life.
Much better game here out of Hunter on the Shyvana. Has been in the right place at the right time numerous times. Whenever KAW Knights is looking to get aggressive, looking to pick up these kills, Hunter has been there to help release some of that aggression and even in some cases turn it around. We see another case there. He was on the top side and he saw that the enemy jungler was also there and Gnarly Brood was pushing up, went up to the top side, was able to turn around that fight. So pretty good map awareness from him, able to keep his laners safe. Wombat has finished her Zhonya's now, so she will be able to survive a little easier against Vitality. Has some armor, that extra stasis proc.
Ooh, Unlucky Crit taking a lot of damage here from Wild Dog as She plays very aggressive and forces out the heal, but Hunty actually showing up is able to force out Wild Dog's heal in return in the bottom lane. As well as the exhaust
Again, you
Brzezinski
see
down.
Hunter in the right place at the right time. Zed roaming down to try to punish that really low mobility squishy Kog'Maw. And Hunter is there to help stop some of that aggression and deter the dive.
And right as you mentioned that, we did see Bandit, body slamming into the mid lane and forcing the flash out from Wombat. Now Hunty could be caught here. Okay, we're going to try and chase down the Shyvana. But not able to get there quite quick enough. Shyvana just takes down the Scuttlecrab and backs away. But certainly a much closer early game here, as we do see these teams tied in gold. We can take a peek at the gold differences here. Still certainly a lead for Gnarly Brood in the top lane, but that is essentially offset by the lead that Hunty has been able to build over Bandit, And otherwise, we're essentially fairly even across the board with these teams. And the gold difference is negligible at this 17-minute mark.
And you can see Prayer already has the Warden's Mail and the Bramble Vest built onto him. He's starting to become much more tanky. You can see Gnarly Brood is having a hard time poking him out of this lane. You can see those area procs are doing a lot less damage than they were last game. Gnarly Brood does have the Black Cleaver on Gnar, but it's just starting to become less and less effective. Prayer also has the Ninja Tabbing, reducing that auto attack damage. Good jukes by him. But much better early game out of Reborn Gaming, able to survive a lot of the aggressive picks that KAW Knights has taken. And they're going, although they have fallen in a little bit of a CS deficit in some areas, they're able to make up in others. And they're on the right track to kind of scale up and get this Kog'Maw and Orianna to those late game fights where they are just going to be very effective.
Now we do see Gnarly Brood taking down that first tower. We'll get solo gold for that, and that is only going to exaggerate the lead that he has. Does he want to fight Prayer here? Prayer needs to be careful. That's the Mega Gnar. Will he be able to ult him in the wall? Does get the stun, is continuing to play aggressive, but Prayer's pretty tanky, and I think Gnarly Brood seems to understand that in Mega form, he's not going to be able to do enough damage to really threaten that Maokai. And so he will just back away and save the ultimate for now.
We see Gnarly Brood is able to get that first turret, but much later than he did last game. At this time last game, we almost had KAW Knights knocking down the inhibitors. I think it was 23 minutes last game, KAW Knights at the inhibitor turret. And being able to survive and hold on as long as Reborn Gaming has been able to limit that Gnar. He's had to stay in lane and try to really...
Wombat could be in big trouble here. Gnarly Brood trying to chase down the Orianna, but the Shockwave will land onto two. Wild Dog forces the back way, uses the ultimate, but Prayer is on to the back line. We're going to see a fight, folks. We're going 5v5. Wild Dog trying to back away from Prayer. He's cut between four members, but can his team support him? He will die. Now, there's Gnarly Brood, the three-man Gnar ultimate. Wombat could go down. The double kill to Hunty, though. Wild Dog in full retreat. Can they chase him down? They will. The triple kill to Hunty, and that's a huge fight win for Reborn. They are back into this game, and they're going to take an Infernal Drake after that fight.
And they pick up the Infernal afterwards. That's just going to add to the incredible scaling that they do have with the Orianna and the Kog'Maw. And that was just a brilliant fight by the side of Reborn Gaming. Prayer does come in
great flank.
A little early, maybe a little too far away from his team, is taken down before he really has a chance to impact the fight, but he is also able to occupy 4 members of KAW Knights while the rest of his team is dealing with the
Gragas.
Yeah, they were dealing with the Gragas. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That was a pretty chaotic fight.
It was definitely. But Reborn Gaming does come out on top. 3 kills on the Shyvana. She's going to start getting very big. Looks like she is building into a Frozen Mallet next. Going to be able to chase down those squishy targets. And this is exactly what Reborn Gaming needed. They are able to not only survive the early game, but come out with a lead. And that's going to be very important as they want to create protection for their Kog'Maw to just sit back and scale. KAW has completed his Rage Blade now. He's working towards the Blade of the Rune King. I like that pick. Able to really pressure the Gnarly Brood and Bandit, yeah, the two tanks. And I would also like to point out how well Zinski has been playing. Zinski has been very effective on disengaging these aggressions. Perfect tornadoes. His ultimates have been on point. If you saw there, his ultimate sort of saved two members of the team as Gnar went in and tried to dive them. Was able to heal back the whole team. Looks like he might be building into Redemption. We'll see if he goes an Ardent Sensor after that. We'll be able to apply Ardent Sensor to the entire team. But great stuff from Reborn Gaming.
And I think the other thing that we didn't mention as a result of that fight is Reborn was able to secure that tier 1 in the mid lane, which just opens up the map so much. And now with 4 kills onto the Shyvana, Hunty is so strong, and with that more, with that mid lane tower down, he will have so much more access to invade into the jungle of KAW Knights and continue to force that advantage that he has been able to build thanks to that triple kill in that last fight. Now, you see KAW Knights possibly trying to force something in the middle lane. Reborn will be slow to react. They have 3 members here to try and push, but good wave clear there from Wombat, able to take down that minion wave and not really worry too much about this push. Ooh, Bandit, yeah, actually able to body slam away, and Wombat will whiff on that shockwave. Now, the cooldown is not very long, so should be up momentarily, but still able to force out that ultimate. That does put KAW Knights in a position of power here for the next minute or so.
That ultimate from Orianna already over a quarter of the way back to being up again. So with that blue buff, a little bit of extra CDR, has some CDR at Hourglass as well as a Fiendish Codex. So shouldn't have to worry too much. I haven't seen as much.
Ooh, Vitalis wants to fight in the bot lane. He's going to dive. Unlucky crit. That stopwatch may have been a little too early. It was not, but it doesn't matter. Vitalis will secure that kill in the 1v1, and now going to look to push this bot lane with the 1-4 set up. There's no way Zinski's really going to be able to deal with this Zed, but he's actually too low of health thanks to that tower dive, so he will, in fact, back to base and possibly rejoin his team.
And Vitalis must have read my mind there. I was just about to talk about how I haven't seen much aggression out of him on this Zed pick. It was a little bit of a strange pick to me when we have the Orianna and the Janna coming out for the KAW, able to kind of shield him up and protect him from this Zed that just wants to dive and assassinate him. But KAW, all alone down in the bot lane, didn't have the Janna next to him at that moment, and Vitalis took advantage of that, is able to go down there and get a nice pick.
Now, interestingly enough, we did see Unlucky Crit use the stopwatch, and then he actually, in fact, immediately sells it. What do you think about that? Because it builds in to the Guardian Angel. Do you think that would have been a worthwhile item on the KAW, or considering the composition that they've built on him, is it maybe possibly better to go towards more damage and attack speed?
I definitely think it can kind of come down to preference and how good you are at playing the champion. I think Unlucky Crit has done a good job so far at playing safe. Even there, when he did die, he was under turret farming, so it's not like he was pushed up way into a side lane. He hasn't been being super overly aggressive, so I think he's okay at this point to kind of, forego that Guardian Angel as of now and go into some more damage. We may see him pick it up later, although Stopwatch does, build into the Guardian Angel. It also takes up an inventory spot that you may want to use to hold some of the components of the items you're building. So
he's trying to chase down a Lucky Crit now. He is going to activate the ultimate. Will it be enough damage? The heal. Oh, Vitalis is actually going to go down. Unlucky Crit takes the kill and survives thanks to his support in the redemption usage. Good job from Reborn there to protect their carry as Vitalis went overly aggressive, and it will cost him his life. Now they're trying to chase down the straggling members of KAW here. Bandit, yeah, very deep in the red side jungle of Reborn. Just going to be able to back, though, outside of vision. Or he could possibly just move over to his team. Baron is up, and it looks like Reborn wants to go for this 25-minute Baron.
And that's exactly what this composition of Reborn Gaming has allowed this Kog'Maw pick. You see all the shields coming in from the Orianna, the ultimate from the Janna, the redemption coming down.
Now here comes
exhaust
the teleport
was not
from Gnarly
that.
Brood. He's in Mega. He's going to go in, going to catch two, gets them into the wall. Now is Hunty going to go down? He will. That's the jungler down. Wombat has to use the stopwatch. Now Gnar is dead, so unlucky crit could be free to just deal out damage. Double kill to Bandit. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Wild Dog is dead. He's going to go down. There's the triple. There's the quadra kill to the Kog'Maw. Now Vitalis, can he do anything about this? Unlucky crit. I mentioned it in draft. Was certainly curious about the confidence in this free agent pickup for Reborn Gaming, but it seems like their confidence was not misplaced. He has played so well on this Kog'Maw so far. Now 6-2-3, the quadra kill in that fight, and they certainly are very much in control of this game right now. The gold lead not that much, as it's only 1,000, but that Kog'Maw is very strong and is only gonna get bigger as this game goes on.
Incredible game from Unlucky Crit, a free agent no less, out of nowhere showing up big in his second game against KAW Knights. And I think this is just a very well, I know we kind of criticized the composition, the draft pick of Reborn Gaming, but they have played this protecting Kog'Maw comp extremely well. Bandit, yeah, has not been able to get down into this bot lane and pressure this Kog'Maw in the early game. And you actually saw Kog'Maw and Janna pushing out Xayah and Lulu, getting a lot of damage out of them, almost getting a few 2v2 kills in the laning phase. And so KAW Knights have just not been able to shut down this Kog'Maw, and now he's got his Rage Blade, he's got his Blade of the Ruin King. It looks like he might be working towards a Runan's Hurricane. Kog'Maw is coming online in a big way. And with this Janna, she's finished her redemption. Looks like she's building towards that Ardent Center to buff him up even more. You have the double front line in Maokai and Shyvana with the Orianna shields. It's going to be hard to take him down.
And they want to go for this Baron right now. It's going very low, but they're going to engage the fight. Looks like Hunty is going to stay on the objective and try and take it down, but Vitalis is very low. He's got to be careful. Ooh, Shockwave lands on 3. Wild Dog's still alive, however, but the Baron is going to go over to Reborn. Now, Gnarly Brood does get the ultimate, but doesn't use it as effectively. 5 members are still alive, and they're trying to chase down KAW Knights. Good crowd control there from Wild Dog, but it doesn't matter. Wombat's going to take down Bandit. Yeah, they're going to try and chase down the carries. Vitalis and Wild Dog very low, and they actually are able to take down the Shyvana in the retreat. Excuse me. Good job from KAW Knights to stay alive, but a certainly one fight there from Reborn. They have the Baron, and they have the advantage.
And this protect the Kog'Maw composition is just starting to get too strong for KAW Knights to deal with. You can see the Gnar trying to dive in, trying to get some CC off on the Kog'Maw. Vitalis trying to go in, get as much damage down as he can, but the protection from the Janna, from the Lulu, the peel from the Maokai has just been too much for them to deal with. And it's only going to get worse from here. KAW Knights are going to start struggling very hard once this Kog'Maw gets even closer and closer to 6 items. He has finished his Burn Answer now. He's going to be able to start doing this percent maximum health damage to a large number of enemies at the same time. Has another BF sword in his inventory. I'm curious to see if he might be going towards an Essence Reaver. I do like Essence Reaver on these sort of, you know, 80 carries that have these attack speed steroids, such as Kog'Maw, because when you have that extra cooldown put on top of the Kog'Maw, your W becomes up almost all the time. I believe it's about 10 seconds of uptime, and with the cooldown you get from the Essence Reaver, no, I think it's 8 seconds of cooldown, and then it's like a 10-second cooldown, so you only have 2 seconds in which you're not using that W. So we'll see if that is what he builds into here. Could also be the Guardian's Angel for a little bit of armor to protect him even further.
And I think something we need to mention we were very skeptical of Prayer's Maokai pick, but I think he played the laning phase so well and safe that he's gotten to a point where he's 0-1 and 11 now. He still can't really deal with Gnarly Brood in the 1v1, but he has been so effective in team fights that has essentially negated the advantage that Gnarly Brood has had in this 1v1 fight. Now he is going to try and take down Prayer here. Redemption is going to keep the Maokai alive and essentially discourage Gnarly Brood from continuing to fight here. The team could possibly rotate down. Bandit, yeah, walking into no vision there, has to be careful. But Zinski and the rest of the team will just back away at this point. They could possibly try and collapse and go for the dive on the bot side. The tower is not very healthy. But instead of the dive, just looks like they're going to push, and Gnarly Brood's just going to back away, not willing to give up his life for this tier 1 tower.
And you see KAW Knights. I don't really see many items coming out of their frontline tanks to kind of, you know, counter the Kog'Maw. I don't see, they could be building a Frozen Heart. There is a Adaptive Helm coming out from Bandit, yeah. Will help with his magic damage. A little bit of aggression there from Hunter. But I think a Frozen Heart could go a long way to slowing that Kog'Maw's attack speed and kind of really diminishing in his role in fights. And Kog'Maw did decide to pick up that Guardian's Angel.
So interesting that he sold the stopwatch earlier. Would have saved him some cash if he had not sold it earlier, but maybe it was just he was focused on the completing that Runeans and got him closer. So let's have the GA now, and will just mean it's so much more difficult to take Unlucky Crit down. Not only is there the Janna and the Orianna built around him, but now you have to kill him twice in these fights.
Yeah, and it could be the extra gold he might have been just before a fight one to get a finished completed item, or it could have just been the inventory slot, although I think he could have just stored his Torrent's Blade at that point. But either way, he does now have the GA. Like you said, it's going to be very tough to take down, but there's also going to be a lot riding on Unlucky Crit's shoulders. He needs to stay with his team, not let this lead get to his head. Can't get too cocky because he is still an AD carry, he's still very squishy, and if KAW Knights manages to pick him off, manages to take him down, they are going to have a huge advantage in any fight that they can force afterwards.
Well, they're going to try and chase down the Sumana here, but she is too quick, uses the Blast Cone over the wall, and KAW Knights just forced to back away. Now the next Drake will be up here in about 35 seconds, and we just check that real fast. It is going to be an Ocean, so could be the second Ocean Drake for the side of KAW Knights if they do in fact go for that. But they have the Talus trying to push the top lane. 3 in the middle, so they have the 1-3-1 going, trying to get this split push, but Reborn seems like they are just ready to fight as they have 5 members in the mid lane.
Talus is pushing up on the top side, might be hoping to get a good split going, try to take down some turrets. You see, Prayer is going down to answer him. So that is one tank gone from the protect the AD carry comp.
And that will be that tier 2 on the top side going down thanks to that push from the Talus, and he is actually able to escape from Prayer and will be safe. Now it looks like we have pings here from Reborn. They want to go to this Ocean Drake.
Gnarly Brood is behind that, could try to flank if he wanted to.
Prayer has his teleport, so he can easily join this team. Bandit, yeah, with the flash, body slam, and Wombat actually just forced away. Good flash in response. Wild Dog has been caught. Oh, she's going to go down. A lucky crit with the kill, the redemption, and the double kill for the Kog'Maw. That's a huge play from Reborn. They're going to go for this Ocean Drake and could look to push some lanes afterwards. A great fight and good response there. Bandit, yeah, going in a little too over-aggressive. His team doesn't follow up, and then Wild Dog gets caught. That's a big play for Reborn.
And great job on Wombat for chunking out Wild Dog prior to that catch, able to take him down to below half health with nothing but a Q and a W, and sort of enabled that pick.
The Brood has teleported to the mid lane, but that inhibitor tower is going to go down. Reborn continuing to push. Gnar not enough to discourage Reborn from continuing to play forward, and now with Baron alive, looks like they will retreat to that objective. They do not have the Shyvana with them, so no smite at this point. Looks like they will just back. Possibly try and prepare for that. This could actually be a good time for KAW to get aggressive. They could go for this Baron, but looks like their reaction will be too slow. They don't have vision of the backs from Reborn, so not confident enough to go for this Baron. And it looks like with both of these teams grouping up, we could get a fight here in just a moment.
And I like that you touched on KAW Knight's vision in the first game. We saw they had vision of all these objectives throughout the entire game, and although they did have that same vision in the early game, they have faltered quite heavily in their vision around objectives, and it started to hurt them. They have to be afraid now when they go in and try to pressure these objectives, because they could have an entire team waiting in one push.
Vitalis going in aggressively, ult Zinsky, but it will not actually do them any good. Now, trying to get onto the backline is Prayer and Hunty. Bandit layout gonna go very low, and Unlucky Crit takes the kill. He's got the double. He's trying to chase him down. He goes for the triple. Wild Dog is dead. Quadra, is this the Penta? He does it. Yes, he does! The Penta kill from Unlucky Crit. The free agent gets the Penta, and they will turn on the Baron, and this could almost be the game. What a hell of a play there from the AD carry, and now they're securely in the lead.
Absolutely dominating. Vitalis dives in at the beginning of that fight and just tries to burst out that Janna, but he doesn't have any of his backup. I think he needs to be waiting for these Gnar engages, these Gragas engages. He needs to wait for his team to, you know, kind of lock down these carries before he just goes all gung-ho and dives in. But he does go in, and he is blown up at the beginning of the fight, and that gives Reborn Gaming the confidence to turn on the heat. And Unlucky Crit picking up a pentakill in that fight. Absolutely dominating performance from him on this KAW.
Yeah, has certainly been playing out of his mind so far in this game. 14, 2, and 4 on the KAW, playing so well. Was able to escape the laning phase without a huge deficit, thanks to the play from particularly his support, Zinsky, keeping him alive and bridging the gap to the mid game. And they have just absolutely unlocked Unlucky Crit on this KAW. He has taken the reins of this game and absolutely ran with it.
Absolutely has, and I would like to see Vitalis has the Dustblade, has the Yomus, but he's been in the side lane most of these fights. Or I shouldn't say most of these fights, but most of this last 15-20 minutes he's been in the side lane and trying to get a split push going. I really think he needs to be with his team, and then once you get that engaged, then you can try to jump in and try to delete an Oriana.
Oh, he could be dead here. Oh, yeah. That's a huge misplay by Vitalis, just walking into the middle lane, and walks into a full 5-man squad from Reborn, and that death could be the game with Baron up super minions in the mid lane. Reborn's gonna push for the Nexus towers. One goes down. They're looking for number 2. The ultimate from Parrot will zone off the squad. Wild Dog gonna try and take down the jungler, but it doesn't matter. Here comes the redemption.
Very greedy pathing from Vitalis there.
Yeah, Unlucky Crit will take down Wild Dog. Vitalis is dead. The Shockwave will secure at least crowd control on one member, and there goes the Nexus. Reborn Gaming sends us to Game 3 after a convincing win over KAW Knights.
An Unlucky Crit. 15-2 on that KAW, 356 CS, dominating performance. Able to survive the early game aggression from the Xayah and the Lulu, and just able to take over this game. And once he got online with the composition that Reborn Gaming put together, there wasn't really much to do. There wasn't much stopping it. I would have liked to see a lot more aggression from the bot side from KAW Knights. We said that the composition from Reborn Gaming really hinged around this KAW, but we saw a lot of fighting top, and there wasn't as much pressure bot as I would have loved. But also, props to Hunter, able to stop a lot of the aggression that KAW Knights did try to put on, always in the right place at the right time. amazing counter ganks, able to turn a lot of fights around, and much better performance out of him this game.
Yeah, I have to say, easy MVP vote to the Quadra and Pentakill there for unlucky crit. Hell of a game. 36,500 damage, head and shoulders above.
Just
second place at 23,000 was Wild Dog, so a massive amount of damage. But have to say, honorable mention to the rest of his team, and specifically Zinski. We talked about he was so good in trying to protect unlucky crit in the laning phase, and then in those fights was fantastic on the Janna. 1-0-19, perfect KDA, played so well and did such a good job at unlocking unlucky crit, because when you're that powerful Kog'Maw, but if that Janna is dead, you're so much more fearful in those fights. You have to play so much more careful, but when you have that Janna alive and playing as well as Zinski did, you are so empowered to play aggressively and chase down all of those kills. So phenomenal play from the entire bottom lane of Reborn there to get them back in this series and send us to a third game.
Absolutely, and the Janna ultimates were just on point. Every time you saw that Zed dive in, that Gnar dive in, it was the immediate exhaust and the ultimate to get those assassins away from her carry. And you even saw early game that Janna ult being used pretty offensively. There was 2 or 3 times where the Janna flash ult was able to help secure kills over onto the Kog'Maw. Reborn Gaming did a very nice job at allowing those kills to get over to the Kog'Maw, funnel him the gold, get him the items, and they really just executed that composition perfectly.
All right, well, we will see the side switched one more time. KAW Knights back to the blue side and Reborn on the red side. Going to be interesting. So we talked about not letting that Gnar through in the second game, but seems like Reborn have figured out how to deal with it, and Prayer playing just a lot more passive, able to absorb a lot of that pressure. So I gotta say, I wouldn't be surprised if they let it through one more time and just pick a composition around the bottom side of the map here. But it's going to be certainly interesting to see just how this draft plays out for game number 3.
And we'll see if Gnarly Brew decides to take that Gnar early game, or if he decides to take something that could even further bully out the Maokai that Prayer has so highly prioritized, or even if he takes the Maokai away from him instead. If Gnarly Brew does decide to go back to the Gnar, I would like to see a more aggressive jungler out of Bandit, that can roam up there to the top lane and really help get that Gnar a lead, because in that first game we saw what happens when Gnarly Brood can get a lead and can take over his lane. He just completely dominates the game, roams around the map, and it was really one of the main reasons that KAW Knights won the first game. And so if he decides to go back to that, I would like to see some more resources funneled into him.
Alright, well, we are just, I believe, waiting for possibly Diz the Great, the coach for KAW Knights, to get into the lobby here, and then we should be ready to go. We may be just waiting on both of the coaches, in fact. But we should be into game at number 3 here momentarily. Thank you so much, folks, to everybody joining us and watching this series tonight. Has certainly been worthwhile to cast, has been an absolute blast, and something tells me game 3 won't disappoint in the slightest as we do prepare here for game number 3. We are ready on the cast and just waiting for these guys to get ready here in the lobby.
would not be surprised if we see some more of Unlucky Crit in the future. I feel like he's not going to remain a free agent for very long.
Yeah, will be
After
interesting
this.
to see just how that one shakes out.
I know I started as a free agent for HughesNet squad, and they picked me up after my very first game.
Alrighty, folks, and we are into draft for game number 3. And the early Shyvana banned away by KAW Knights. Don't want to see Hunty back on that champion. Was very, very good. Played heavily around the mid lane too. We saw early in that second game, Vitalis playing very aggressively once he unlocked that ultimate, trying to kill Wombat's Orianna, but I think one good play by Wombat to stay safe in a couple of those instances, and then the pressure once they took down that mid lane tower from Hunty just made it so much more difficult for Vitalis to play aggressively on that Zed in the mid lane, and also just very good in the fights. And I can certainly understand why they don't want to see him repeat on that Shyvana in game 3.
Absolutely, and the Shen ban coming now again from KAW Knights has been a standard all 3 games. They really do not want prayer on that champion, and I think it's definitely a good choice. I think last game, if you had given a Shen over as well to that composition, would have just been even more hard to deal with that Kog'Maw. Strong champion, able to make a lot of cross-map plays. As well as the Malphite, we see a lot of the tanks, top lane tanks being picked out. Perhaps Gnarly Brood does want to go for a more aggressive champion. Try to bully Prayer out of the lane again. No Maokai ban as of yet. We'll see how this folds out. Gnarly Brood does have the option to first pick the Gnar. No Kog'Maw ban also. Okay, that's what I thought was gonna come through. KAW Knights decides to pick up the Kog'Maw for themselves. We'll see if Reborn Gaming wants to take away the Janna or the Orianna. Both are up on the table. They do know how strong to protect the AD carry comp can be. Jarvan comes through, a very good aggressive champion, can be flexed to the top or the jungle, good at jumping on that AD carry.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Wild Dog is able to play up to the level that Unlucky Crit did in the last game. Certainly a high bar there. And the Lulu actually still available. Reborn opting to take the Janna instead, which means that Gamer can get that Lulu one more time. And now with the Kog'Maw pick, that is still a very powerful duo lane.
That is an extremely powerful lane. I feel as if Kog'Maw with the Lulu kind of elevates him to another tier. Kog'Maw is a strong AD carry right now, especially in this meta, but with the Lulu that Gamer will pick up, it just even more so elevates Kog'Maw, gives him the shield, allows him the ult to kind of disengage and keep those assassins off of him, and also applying a lot of on-hit damage, giving a lot of extra damage to the Kog'Maw with the picks. Vitalis does also pick up the Orianna, so we start to see a reminiscence of the Protect the Kog'Maw comp that Reborn Gaming just ran against KAW Knights. They said, hey, we like that. That's really strong. We want to pick it up for ourselves. So we'll see if Reborn Gaming has an answer for it that KAW Knights did not.
And interestingly enough, we have actually seen that Jinx banned in the first 2 games And Reborn here saying, we see your late game hyper carry, and we're happy to match that with the Jinx pick. Now, they won't have the Orianna in the mid lane to protect that hyper carry, as well as the early Juggernaut composition put together by KAW, but still Janna and Jinx, no slouches in that late game. So gonna have to see which team can just out late game the other. And the Gnar is let through, or is unbanned, I should say, and not early picked by KAW, and then opting to ban the Maokai away from Prayer here in the second ban phase.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. We'll see, there is one ban left to go. Jinx, though, Jinx did get some very good buffs on this last patch. Some of her attack speed on her Q was put into her early game, no longer scales off of level. So it gives her a little bit more attack speed in the early and mid game. And also her passive was scaled back when she gets excited. She can now exceed the attack speed cap. So definitely adds some late game ability for her. Is much stronger in this patch than some of her previous ones. We'll see if Unlucky Crit can have the same kind of performance on Jinx as he did the Kog'Maw. You also see the Gnar ban finally coming through. Reborn Gaming have had enough of that champion. Ornn picked up for the side of Reborn Gaming. No Braum to stop it. Braum is usually the counter we see against Ornn. Can block his ram with his shield. So a lot of long-range engage on the side of Reborn Gaming. They really want to just dive on top of that Jarvan with the Ornn ultimate coming in from behind, with the Jarvan ultimate able to engage from a long ways away. And Jinx just sitting back in the back line, firing out these AoE rockets, getting these AoE crits. It's going to be a very dangerous team fight for KAW Knights. Interesting with the Jax pickup, though. I haven't seen Jax a lot recently. Definitely has a lot of good scaling on him. We'll see if he's able to bully out Prayer on that Ornn as well as he was in the first game. Ryze coming through, kind of the premier Orianna counter right now. One of the big three popular mid laners at the moment. Zir, Orianna, and Ryze kind of have a monopoly on that lane. Not as strong in solo queue as you see in professional play, but definitely a lot of playmaking potential with the ultimate. Can bring the entire team right on top of that Kog'Maw. You see the composition from Reborn Gaming. They just want to take their whole team and say, we don't have to work through your front line. We can just take our entire team to your back line. Also a lot of safety with the shield and CC in the lane if you get skanked. So I don't think there's really any clear winner out of this draft pick. I think both teams have drafted very strong comps, and I think it's just going to come down to executes their composition better.
I'm very excited for these fights, honestly. The
Absolutely,
Juggernaut
it's
composition
gonna be
comboed with the Orianna Shockwave, and then you've got that Ornn ultimate, and then the Jinx and Ryze trying to chase down the carries of KAW Knights. Certainly going to be a very exciting one to watch, in my opinion, and certainly looking forward to see just how the last game of this series pans out.
I expect a lot of attention bot lane. Again, we said it in the game before. This Kog'Maw kind of the cornerstone of the composition, and that puts it on the enemy team to put a lot of pressure in the bot lane. Try to get that Kog'Maw behind, because if they put that Kog'Maw behind, it moves a lot of the threat from this composition. Of course, they do also have the Orianna, also have the Jax. Both scale very well, as well as the Lulu. although the Janna will outscale the Lulu in the later stages of the game. There's also not as much of a front line. Skarner can get pretty tanky, but not as well as the Ornn in these late game fights, and the Ornn also provides that extra layer of those upgraded items to kind of boost his allies in those late game fights if we can get that late. So very similar drafts coming out actually from these two teams. Very two well put together compositions. We'll see who is able to take control in this game and take the series. We see Vitalis is bringing Cleanse to this game. Smart pick against the Ornn, against the Ryze, against the Jarvan. Realizes there is some good lockdown CC. He wants to avoid it. We'll see if Orianna and Ryze are going to bring Unsealed Spellbook. I would expect Unsealed Spellbook on the mid laners. It has become sort of the standard. Provides a lot of playmaking abilities, swapping out for teleports, moving around the map. We'll see if these teams decide to take it and if they can make an advantage out of it. We are going to be heading into our third game of the series. Reborn Gaming versus KAW Knights, tied 1-1 at the moment.
Alrighty, folks. With KAW Knights taking it game one in convincing fashion, and Reborn doing the same in game number 2. We are in game 3 of this series in week 1 of ABL Season 3. This one will finish off our first week of play, and whoever wins this game will sit atop the standings alongside teams like Schism and Team Royal Luck with a 1-0 record. And I expect a very interesting, chaotic, and team fight heavy game here. Something tells me it won't disappoint after the games we have seen so far in this series.
We see Gnarly Brood on the Jax in the top lane taking Kleptomancy. This is sort of a newer build on Jax. He can proc it very well with all of his low cooldown abilities, his W, his Q, and his E. He's constantly using those abilities in the fights, able to proc it very effectively, and it can snowball him to getting those items a lot earlier than the Ornn. But it was also nerfed in the last patch. The chance to get those items that kind of help sustain Jax in the lane was lowered. So we'll see if he's able to use that, and if he can get a even larger lead. Looks like he's looking to just kind of snowball like he did in the first game. The standard start for both sides. Good leashes on both the junglers on the red buff. They are both starting bot side, so there's a chance we could see them meet up top again.
And now we're just going to have to see how aggressively Gnarly Brood wants to play in the laning phase. You mentioned that nerf onto the Kleptomancy. Does that discourage him from trying to win this early 1v1, or Does he still feel
Absolutely
confident?
not. I think, especially with the lower chance, he needs to be getting in there even more often and trying to proc this kleptomancy, getting as much gold as he can. You see there already able to gain a little bit of extra gold, but did not earn himself any items. But he needs to be getting there as much as possible, getting that gold, and then getting back, transferring that into item and item advantage, and really trying to shove out this Ornn. Because this Ornn is going to be extremely tanky for his team in the late game. So the longer you can delay that late game massive front line, the better. We do also see Jarvan with the Electrocute Keystone. Wondering if he is going to go a little more of the high damage build. We see a lot of Jarvans going Dustblade, trying to jump onto those high priority targets like the Orianna, like the KAW, and just trying to burst them down at the beginning of the fights. He can have a lot of damage potential, but if he decides to do that, he is also leaving their team with only one front line on the side of Ornn. So it'd be interesting to see how he decides to build as the game progresses. Unlucky's crit off to a good start. It's about a 5 CS lead over the KAW and the Lulu.
And Prayer wants to fight here. He and Gnarly Brood will trade, and actually looks like Prayer is going to win that trade there. Sitting at over half
Ornn
health.
does have a lot of damage if you can proc it. Can be tough to deal with in these early stages.
Now Bandit, yeah, has moved his way into the brush here on the bot side, has blue buff, and it's just whether he is patient enough. He is going to channel his back, so looks like there will be no gank at this time as Unlucky crit, and Zinski not pushing up far enough for Bandit yet to feel confident to go into that lane, and he will just back and return to clearing his jungle.
Also notable, the Ornn does already have 2 cloth armors. Thanks to his passive, he does not need to go back to base to buy items.
Taken fairly low there in that trade, under 200 health at the end of that, and having to retreat to his tower to avoid getting killed by the Ornn. So Prayer doing a good job of handling this Jax here in the laning phase.
And that can be one of the struggles of laning against Ornn, is he can buy those early resistances. You see he's already finished his Bramble Vest, and until Jax can get back to base and spend this gold that he has, maybe buy a Sheen, maybe buy some attack damage, maybe buy some sustain, he's gonna have a hard time against this Ornn who's able to get those resistances right away. So we might see a different story here once this Jack is able to go back and buy some items.
Vitalis whiffing there on the shockwave, trying to catch Wombat, stepping up as his jungler was waiting in the wings, but does not land the ultimate, and just will cost him that cooldown, and Bandit, yeah, now having to just retreat back to his jungle. Misplay there.
A little bit of a whiff there. Wombat still does blow the flash. Is able to still get that summoner spell out of him, so not a complete fail in the gank. Now we see Gnarly Brood has a big wave that he's pushing into this turret. Let's see if he can, how much CS he can deny this. Prayer is actually up on CS at the moment. Unlucky crit has also built himself now a 10 CS lead. About 6 minutes is going to have a nice back. Stopwatches are online. We have 4 on the side of Kawaii Knights, 2 on the side of Reborn Gaming. 6 out of the 10 players do stopwatch. Gnarly Brood now has that Sheen, able to bully out that Ornn a little more effectively. He's going to have to go back to base. kudos to the Jinx. Kudos to the Jinx and the Janna for not only surviving, but for getting a CS lead against this KAW Lu, who can be a very strong early game presence.
Yeah, Lucky Crit able to get that BF sword on his first back. And we now do see the KAW backing with 22 gold, or 2200 gold, excuse me, built up over the game. So we'll now be able to buy that recurve bow as well as an extra dagger. Also grabbing that control ward as he will return to his lane. The power certainly an unlucky crit in this matchup, but KAW trying to scale up as Reborn has turned on to this early Infernal Drake, and that's an easy secure with Bandit on the other side of the map. And both of these teams certainly want to scale, and that scaling, again, only that much more potent with that Infernal Drake.
I really like this call by the side of Reborn Gaming. They recognize that KAW is a very strong hyper-scaling champion, Orianna very strong game, and they recognize that they might be outscaled, but with the Infernal Drake, they kind of even the playing field. We've had a lot of Infernal Drakes in this season. I think we've had 2 or 3 of them per game.
I believe that's the 5th in this series. It's 4th or 5th, so
very exciting games. Lots of damage flying around. Vitalis doing a good job poking out Wombat. Has that blue buff able to just constantly poke and pressure him off the CS.
He's going to go for the kill. Bandit, flashes over the wall. Shockwave not used yet. Doesn't look like it'll be necessary. Wombat going to go down. Oh, and they actually are able to grab the flash as well. First blood to Vitalis in the early lead to KAW Knights.
Smite misplay by Wombat there. I think he was trying to go for an ult into stopwatch to try to get out of it, but he didn't activate the ultimate. Rare might be getting a solo kill here.
Yeah, forces out the stopwatch from Gnarly Brood, as well as the flash. The Jax overestimating his damage, or possibly underestimating Prayers, and Prayer will actually go in and get the knock-up. So Gnarly Brood certainly on the back foot in this matchup right now.
Yeah, Prayer just focusing this really early armor and trying to just stack resistances against this Jax in the early game, where Jax doesn't have as much damage, isn't able to really fight in the 1v1. Lots of Orns will try to prioritize mana regen in the early game, as Armor can be very mana reliant. But Prayer realizing that he can't be getting bullied out by the Jax, and builds an early Ninja Tabby and Bramble Vest instead. We see Unlucky Crit doing a phenomenal job in the bot lane at a 30 CS, 33 CS, almost 10 CS per minute for him. 11 minutes into the game, out to hit 100 CS. He is having a fantastic lane against this KAW and this Lulu.
Now we could see a possible fight in the blue side jungle here. Bandit, and Hunty very close to each other. Vitalis possibly going for the collapse. Going to get a little damage out onto the J4, but he will just flag and drag over the wall and escape before the rest of the KAW Knights lineup can collapse on him.
And I think if you're KAW Knights, you have to start investing some resources down into this bot side. We've seen Bandit, go mid, get that kill onto, or blow the sums onto Wombat, get that kill onto Wombat. We've seen him roaming around the top side jungle. We haven't seen a lot of pressure in the bot side. And we've said, with this composition, you need your KAW to be ahead. So when you see that your KAW is now 33 CS down at 11 minutes, you need to start sending the Orianna down there, sending the Skarner down there, setting up these TP plays. Start investing resources into this late game hyper carry that you've built your composition around. Because as of right now, RBG is just winning all the lanes. Small CS deficit, besides mid lane, small CS deficit and a kill over to Vitalis in the mid lane. But I would like to see Vitalis now using that lead to try and go bot or top and release some of that pressure.
Well, the Shockwave will catch Wombat, and Bandit, yeah, is here to get the ultimate. Can they take him down before J4 gets here? Not quite yet. Wombat actually going to be able to run away. There's no support from the top side of the map, and he will actually escape. Hunty here with the flag and drop, able to knock up the mid laner, and using the Cataclysm will help secure his mid laner's life, and Wombat able to surprisingly escape.
Great escape by Wombat. Able to deny that kill, going over to that Orianna, stop that snowball. Just very well played by him. But you can see once again we have Tech the 80 carry composition, but we see a lot of fighting mid lane. Gnarly getting some decent damage onto Frere up top. Is down. A little bit of CS. Working towards that Trinity Force. That Kleptomancy gold is helping, although he is down and staying quite even in gold because of this Kleptomancy keystone.
Now it's going to be interesting to see which one of these jugglers makes an appearance in the bot lane first. Neither of them have put their mark on this side of the map as of yet. Both of them certainly have the gank potential, especially when they have their ultimates available, so gonna have to see just how this one pans out. We're now just over 14 minutes into the game. A negligible gold lead for KAW Knights, and we're gonna have to see just how this one shakes out. The Ocean Drake is alive. Looks like Reborn possibly wants to try and secure their second elemental of the game here. Teleports are up for both top laners as well as the mid laners, so it seems like any fight that happens across the map could turn into a 5-man fiesta, depending on how these players want to use those summoner spells.
And I would like to see Vitalis does have a pretty nice lead over this Ryze in the mid lane. It's getting a lot of attention, a lot of ganks, a lot of the blue buffs. Reborn Gaming picking up their second Drake here, uncontested. We have not seen the same vision control in the bot side of the map from KAW Knights as we have in the first two of the games.
It looks like they want to make a play on the top side. Here comes Vitalis and Bandit. Yeah, the Shockwave will miss as Prayer forces to flash away, but Bandit, yeah, will use the ultimate to drag him in. That will be a kill for Gnarly Brute as Vitalis tanks the tower. And now they could look to push and possibly take first tower here. They do have a wave right behind them. Now Hunty has moved to the bot side to possibly try and contest that. We will secure this first tower. Vitalis is backing. Good polymorph there. Oh, and that's an actual huge misplay by KAW Knights. Vitalis doesn't stay top, and now there's going to be a fight on the bottom. The duo lane will go down. 2 kills onto Unlucky Crit, and the lead securely now in favor of Reborn Gaming. Vitalis actually backing there cost them that first tower gold. If he had helped them out, they possibly should have been able to secure that prior to Reborn, so losing out on that gold, and now they're going to look to possibly push the tier 2 as they did get vision on Bandit. Yeah, Gnarly Brute still on the top side. 4 members here to push, and this should easily be another tower for the side of Reborn. Good rotations by this lineup so far in this game.
Wild Dog and Gamer there making a little bit of a mistake sticking around on that turret. Once you know that it's going to fall, you need to leave when you see the Jarvan coming through. You see that the Ryze is missing mid lane. You have the Jinx that's already got Harumian's Hurricane that can get excited, that can chase you down. They have so much tools to get onto you. You have to be able to recognize that sometimes you need to just let the turret go.
That almost seems like just a lack of recognition on their part that Jinx was going to get excited off of that tower kill and just makes her so much more potent. So much easier for her to chase you down in the event of that tower dying. So we're 2-2 in kills. The 2-1 tower lead in favor of Reborn Gaming, as well as 2 elemental drakes. Now Reborn looking to possibly push the mid lane. 3 members of KAW have come to respond. Now we could see a fight here. Oh, there's going to be the collapse. The shockwave will miss, but dragged in his lucky crit, and he's dead. But Talus with the kill. Now they're going to try and chase down Hunty. They have the crowd control. Yes, they do. Oh, forced to flash away. Good wild growth to knock up the J4 there. Can Gnarly Brood continue to chase? No, he cannot. Bandit, yeah, will retreat, but he's actually snared by Wombat. Oh, the Cataclysm going to lock him down. That kill's going to go to the Rise, and a good response there from Reborn Gaming. Overplaying their hand. Were KAW Knights, and they end up losing their jungler for it.
Bandit, yeah, just chasing a little too far under the turret, not respecting the CC coming out from Reborn Gaming. But unlucky crit just standing too far forward, gets caught, and that's RGB's really, that's where all their gold is right now, and they really need to be careful not to lose that member. Unlucky crit has been playing extremely well, but he also needs to be very careful. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders right now.
And something I want to point out, you mentioned it in the last game, we've seen some very, very conservative use of summoner spells by Unlucky Crit in this series. Had heal available, didn't use it, had stopwatch available there too, and did not use that. And, you know, of course, once you get suppressed by the Skarner, you can't use it, but prior, I mean, it buys a little time for your team to come to your assistance, but saving those a little too long sometimes may need to have a more liberal usage of those defensive spells to keep himself alive a little bit longer in these fights.
Yeah, and I think the first or maybe the second time it happened, kind of chalk up. Maybe he just didn't think he could survive, but at this point, I think we just have to kind of assume that he's wasn't paying attention to those summer spells, maybe got caught off guard, didn't quite expect the damage that came through. But as that Jinx, with the one that has most of the gold on your team, you need to be extra careful to be staying safe. If there's no vision, you can't be the one going into face check bushes. There's like I said, just a lot riding on Unlucky Crit right now. I would also like to see a QSS coming out from him for the Skarner ult, for the Jax stun. A little bit more of a defensive build if he is going to be that carry for his team. We do see though a 70, almost 70 CS Lucky Crit, over the 10 CS per minute mark at this point, doing a phenomenal job cleaning up the side waves, picking up all this gold, and it has netted him almost a full item advantage over Wild Dog.
Ooh, Gnarly Brood could be in big trouble here. Prayer whiffs on the ultimate. Now he's just trying to run away. The flagging track will miss. Actually able to jump to a ward, but the Cataclysm will lock him down. Oh, can he actually escape? Zinski trying to come to assist, but Bandit, yeah, keeping her away. And the Jax is actually going to be able to get away. There goes the Super Mega Death Rocket, but it will not land onto the Jax. And surprisingly enough, Gnarly Brood is able to escape. Now we could see a fight here. Vitalis working his way over here. His team just backing off.
Gnarly Brood just taking out the dancing shoes today. Dodges the E from the Ornn, dodges the flag and drag. Wild Dog saved.
Wild Dog forced to use both summoner spells as she got caught in that 1v1 with the Rise and nearly lost her life. Now we have KAW Knights turning onto this Ocean Drake, gonna try and take it down. We're gonna have a smite fight. The smite actually goes to Hunty. Misplay by Bandit, yeah, and they will lose that Drake. That's 3 over to Reborn. Now they will lose their jungler as Skarner able to drag the J4 into his team and they secure that kill, but still those objectives continually secured by Reborn. And They just are doing a great job securing these Drakes so far in games 2 and 3.
They absolutely are. Definitely misplayed by Bandit. Yeah, you can actually ult the enemy jungler before you smite, so that you can still smite while you're ulting, but the enemy is suppressed, so they wouldn't be able to do it. Isn't able to pull that off here, and Reborn Gaming does pick up their 3rd elemental Drake. Double Ocean now gonna be starting to really notice that regen, keeping them healthy in between fights.
Talus, liberal usage of the ultimate there, but is going to lose his life. Oh, almost. Flash, Super Mega Death Rocket will not land onto the Orianna. Actually just able to survive. Just avoiding the zap there as well. Vitalis, again, not respecting the crowd control. This Ryze has a point and click snare, guys. You need to respect that CC. Now it looks like Reborn wants to turn on to the Baron. No vision for the side KAW Knights, and they will be late to respond. Seems like they understand that they are here, however. The Bandit are going to try and run in and grab Unlucky Crit. Ooh, but he's going to die. Wombat will actually secure the kill before the ultimate even comes out. Now Prayer charging into the backline. Wild Dog in big trouble. The Redemption will keep her alive just a little bit longer. Prayer will actually die, but they're still on the Baron. The Baron is down, and now Reborn in full retreat. Good ultimate from Wombat, and Reborn able to escape. 1-for-1 trade, but they take the Baron. Well worth it for Reborn.
Reborn Gaming does come out with the Baron there, but it seems like there was a bit of a miscommunication, kind of splitting up their team for diving onto the backline and finishing the Baron. Prayer does fall in that fight. They still have 4 members alive with the Baron buff. So great turn of events for them.
Vitalis could be caught here, uses the Shockwave, but it does not matter. Unlucky Crick gets the shutdown for his 3rd kill of the game, and they are able to get that mid lane tower, but it could cost them the tier 2 of their own with Vitalis going down.
And Reborn Gaming has drafted a very nice comp for this. They are very good at picking out lone squishies with the Jarvan, able to engage from such a long range. Ryze is able to get his whole team to an area very quickly. Warren has a very long-range ultimate. You have to be very careful as one of the carries for KAW Knights if you are alone.
Ooh, now a lot of CC getting piled onto Bandit. Yeah, he is going to pull Hunty under the tower. Can they take him down fast enough? Possibly one more auto attack, and it actually will be secured by Wild Dog, but it's going to get knocked up by the Ornn ultimate. Super Mega Death Rocket will land, and he goes down. Unlucky Crit takes the kill, the double kill for the Jinx, and now they turn onto the tower. Jinx is excited. Can they take this down? Looks like it should be pretty easy. Will they stay for the inhibitor? They still have the Baron buff. They will. Now Wombat flashes in, locks down Vitalis. Can Vitalis get away? Wombat continuing to chase Polymorph, the Shockwave, and that Ryze is dead. Overplay by the Wombat. And now they need to retreat. The inhibitor does go down, so good job by Reborn. But just continued over-aggression by both sides has cost them at times. Now Gnarly Brood wants to chase them down, activates his ultimate, but it doesn't seem like they can chase down Unlucky Crit. Redemption will heal him up a bit, and they will just back away. And Reborn just content to leave at that point. They have the inhibitor, they have the Baron buff. A good job by that team. I think a big mistake that we haven't actually brought up yet is KAW Knights have continually been putting Wild Dog in a side lane by herself, and I think that's, you know, Wild Dog is not going to be a split pusher on this KAW. You need to have the KAW with the team, with the supports that can keep the KAW healthy, and he is so susceptible in the side lane that you got to have the KAW with the team. You can run a good 1-4-1 as long as Gnarly Brood has his teleport available, because that Jax is certainly potent in the side lanes, but trying to run a 1-3-1 with Wild Dog on her own is not the way to go with this composition.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And they have the composition set up to run that 1-3-1 with the Orianna, the Lulu, and the KAW able to protect, with the Orianna and the Lulu able to protect the KAW. But instead, they are sending KAW off by herself and isn't available for any of that protection. So if they're trying to funnel gold into the KAW, You can always just, you know, in the lane, just make sure nobody else is taking the farm. Definitely a more dangerous playstyle. Like Hawaiian Knights.
Reborn not quite recognizing quick enough that the support was out of position there, as it seems like neither of those teams had vision of each other there. But now this Infernal Drake coming up. Reborn looking to get their second of the game, their fourth elemental in total. They will take down the Blast Cone, so that limits Kauai Knight's options to go for the steal here. Now Bandit, yeah, does have the flash, but it's going to be interesting to see just how both of these teams play it. Reborn can be confident here and go for this Drake. Looks like they want to fight. Prayer trying to lock down Bandit, yeah. Oh, here comes the Ornn ultimate. It's going to knock up at least two. It lands onto the KAW. KAW's damage going to be stunted just a little bit there. Bulldog is actually able to take down Hunty there, though. They're split up. Prayer dealing with 4 members. The Jinx is not here dealing damage to the backline, so that's so far a win for Kauai Knights. The double kill for the KAW as everybody but the carries of Reborn die, and this will be an Infernal Drake for the side of Kauai, getting them back in this game just a little bit.
And Vitalis and Gnarly Brood pulled up a fantastic two-man flank. They came into the back line. Vitalis put his all onto Gnarly Brood and was able to just land a nice shockwave on the back line and just kind of split the team of Reborn Gaming into two.
The one good thing that Reborn did have going there is they had a big minion wave pushing down the middle lane and got significant damage onto the first Nexus turret, as well as the big wave in the bot lane that was forcing the issue there. So they didn't get nothing in that fight, but didn't get the Infernal and handily lost that fight as it was a 3-for-0 in favor of Kauai.
And I think that was extremely well played by Kauai Knights. They recognized that they were losing, you know, the straight up 5-to-5 front-to-back team fights, and so they were able to pull off a brilliant flank with the Jax, with the Orianna, and, you know, just kind of split up the team that was protecting this Jinx. So very well played by them, and I think they're going to have to continue to find these more advantageous positions in these team fights if they want to win this.
Jax nearly caught out there, forced to use the teleport to escape the 4-man flank that was coming for him. That Summoner spell will not be available, which means that the Jax essentially needs to stick with the team. Now, you cannot split push at this point in the game with the deficit you are at without the teleport. You need to be able to fight with your team. Now, the Baron will be up in just over 15 seconds here, so something tells me we're going to get some aggression here. Ooh, Gnarly Brood flashing into the backline. Zinsky going to go very low, activates the ultimate, but is grabbed by the Skarner. Now, Hunty forced the flash away redemption, keeping them very healthy, and Vitalis actually secures the kill into the Ornn. That's a 2-0 victory for Kauai Knights, and now they can force down the mid lane. They're going to try and get some damage onto this tier 2, and Reborn is late to respond.
And Kauai Knights just continue to find these fights in which Reborn Gaming has not set up their 5-to-5 front-to-back composition, and they're able to catch out these small groups of members, get a nice shockwave onto them. Vitalis is 6-1 on this Orianna, almost 300 CS, close to her full build, doing a phenomenal job. And these shockwaves on these just small groups of Reborn Gaming's team is netting a lot of gold back over to Kauai Knights.
But now, here's the problem. Baron is up, and Kauai is backing. They will at least spot out Reborn moving over. They're lucky that Reborn didn't play aggressively for that Baron, because they possibly could have just tried to steal it out from under the nose of Kauai, but they will not do so, so Kauai will be able to get back over here, got a little bit of vision, and look to try and protect this objective.
KAW now does have that Rage Blade, the Wit's End, and the Runaan's Hurricane, so it is a 3-item KAW is fully online now.
Ooh, now they're going to go for the jungler. They have him suppressed, locked down, and Gnarly Brute takes the kill. That's huge. With the Baron
should be
alive, but
free
no
Baron.
smite for Reborn, this should essentially be a free objective. Now the Super Mega Death Rocket is up. Can Unlucky Crit try for the steal here? 4,000 health, trying to fire over the wall. Here comes the ultimate, and it secures the kill! Baron goes to Reborn Gaming! What a play by Unlucky Crit, steals it, and the miss smite from Bandit, yeah.
Steal.
Oh my goodness, what a play by the AD carry.
Out of the free agency, game 2 solo carries the entire game, or I shouldn't say solo carries, but game 3, the Baron steal. He is just having a phenomenal.
Ooh, the Shockwave lands on the 2. Good ultimate from Zinski, keeping Unlucky Crit alive, and down goes the Jax. Now Unlucky Crit trying to unload. Bandit, yeah, under the turret. He's going to lose his life, and Jinx is excited. The double kill. Is this another Penta? That's the triple. Go for Wild Dog. He's right there. Take him down. Jinx is excited. Going for Vitalis. Very low on health. There goes the GA, and that will not be the pentakill as Vitalis is able to retreat, but what a play. Unlucky Crit steals the Baron, and now with the quadra kill, they're pushing down mid lane, looking to take an inhibitor.
Unlucky Crit has been playing out of his mind this series.
And could this be the victory?
Destroying
10
their
seconds
team
at least
fights.
on all of the members. They're going
Jinx
for the
is gonna
first
get
Nexus
excited
tower.
off of all these turrets.
Oh, the Shockwave lands onto 3. Wombat going very low. So does Unlucky Crit. They're just trying to buy time. Gamer is up. Wild Dog in 5 seconds. They're going to have to back away. The Jinx is too low. They need to be careful. Good conservative play here by Reborn, not staying. They could have lost all of their members there if they weren't careful.
Jinx, no lifesteal on her yet, does have QSS and the GA, so a little bit of a more defensive build, although not a lot of sustain.
Yeah, but
But
now
it is a very high damage build, and it is paying off in these fights. These AoV rockets have just been tearing KAW Knights apart. 9-1 on this Jinx now, almost 370 CS at 34 minutes.
But now, with the Mercurial Scimitar coming out, a little bit of lifesteal to add some sustain to the Jinx, and the Ornn upgraded Infinity
Molten
Edge
Edge.
called Molten Edge. Oh, and here's the fight, folks. We're going in. Now Gnarly Brood taking a little bit of damage, forced to retreat. Ooh, the 5-man knockup. Wombat
Vitalis
gets
dead.
the kill. Vitalis is dead. The shutdown onto the mid laner. Wild Dog in full retreat. Prayer trying to take her down. The triple kill for the Rise, and Reborn has shown up. They're going to take the fight. That's the 5-for-0 clean ace. They're going for the base and the
Rise
victory.
the Bane. 30 seconds on Lulu is the next person up. She can't defend, and I think this is just over.
This is the game. Reborn going to go for the base. They're taking down... Oh... The fast forward there was a little bit behind, but the victory, Reborn Gaming with the reverse sweep and the win over KAW Knights.
Very strong game from both sides here. Vitalis putting up a very impressive showing on Orianna, but Unlucky Crit, the hero, coming out of free agency. Game 2, 15-2 on the KAW. Game 3, 9-1 on the Jinx. Unbelievable how strong this... I'm at a loss for words right now.
That was certainly a phenomenal game from Unlucky Crit there. Played so well. And I'm going to try and see if Unlucky Crit is available right now. I want to get Unlucky in here for an interview because that was a hell of a series played by the Reborn 80 carry there. Let me see if I can hunt Unlucky Crit down.
And KAW Knights not able to pull off the same Protect the KAW composition as Reborn Gaming was in Game 2. They had Lulu, they had the Orianna, but they weren't able to get the KAW ahead in the early or the mid game. Orianna did get quite a large advantage for herself, but was not able to really translate that to the rest of the map. How about the team? The unlucky crit. Just insane farm. Had almost perfect CS throughout the entire early game. And due to that, was just almost a full item ahead over KAW in these first fights, and that really allowed her to just out damage KAW and just take over these fights. So really big props to Unlucky Crit. Really took, you know, a losing situation where they lost the first game pretty badly, was able to turn it around with 2 incredible games and carry his team to victory.
Sorry for the obscene scene switching there, but needed to type a little something up.
Zinski as well can definitely be credited for some of the support of Unlucky Crit. Did a phenomenal job protecting both the Kog'Maw and the Jinx pick in those last 2 games on the Janna both times. Was able to really enable Unlucky Crit to go aggressive in those fights. Those perfect clutch redemptions coming out. Lots of shields. The ultimates were on point. And Zinski did a phenomenal job at really unlocking Unlucky Crit and allowing him to take over these games.
All right, well, we do... let me just unmute. And we do have Zinski, the support
man, the
for
myth, the
Reborn,
legend,
joining us, considering where it is that Unlucky wasn't available for an interview, but we do want to ask you, Zinski, about that series. A hell of a series from your AD carry there, picked up on short notice. Certainly giving a lot of credit to you, and I think you honestly played phenomenal in this series. Just talk to me about these last 2 games.
Alright, well, basically, that first game I think we kind of played well these last 2 games, because the first game kind of taught us, we gotta play to our win condition. And our win condition was Unlucky Crit. So we kind of just, drafted for him and tried to get him to the late game, where we know we could, just beat the other team in team fights. And, yeah.
Talk to me about the synergy there between you and Unlucky. I mean, you've been playing a lot with Pixel Dreams, I believe, but due to the rules, had to switch it up here a little bit and bring in that AD carry, and he showed up big time. And obviously, you guys had a lot of confidence in him despite the short notice addition.
Yeah, Unlucky Crit actually plays a lot like Pixel, so it's kind of easier to synergize with him. It's not like I was playing with somebody, had a completely different play style from Pixel, so it's just kind of easier to play with somebody I knew who's kind of synergizes well with me.
Audio, do you have any questions for the support?
Yeah, so Zinski, you said that first game you guys thought you played very well, but just kind of, it did snowball out of control. What do you think exactly went wrong that caused that first game to be so different from those second 2?
Well, our coach made it pretty clear, we're just taking stupid fights, drag. We got the steal, but we kind of over-aggressed, and then we died twice. We just kind of, didn't really communicate what we should have been doing, backing off, or, we got a pick with Mal's ulted on Warwick, I think it was, and we killed him, but we kind of over-aggressed, and then we just got punished for that because they were really far ahead, and we just didn't really play to our win condition.
So I'm sure you guys are obviously very excited that you picked up this win, especially against Prayer's, kind of former team that kind of kicked him out. But going forth, do you think you guys are going to have the same success now that you will have Pixel Dreams and you will no longer have Unlucky Crit? Do you guys think you can still, pull out these this dominant win that you guys had in these last 2 games?
For sure, you know, it's just the first game of the season, so it's only up from here in terms of synergy and just playing as a team, so I definitely think there's better games to come from us.
All right, well, that's all the questions I have.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Zinski. Congratulations on the victory, and we certainly are looking forward to seeing more from Reborn through the rest of this series.
All right. Thanks for the interview, and shout out to my boy here for giving me a pre-game pep talk.
Here we go, boys. Alrighty. Well, that was Zinski, the support for Reborn Gaming there. After their comeback victory, doing a good job of composing themselves after a rough first game to take games 2 and 3 and rocketing themselves, to the top of the standings here at the end of week 1. So good job from Reborn being able to respond. And that is going to do it for us here, folks. Just want to remind everybody, if you want to support us, just continue to come out and watch the streams, or you can subscribe and check out the donate link at the bottom of the page. Remember to come around next week, Mondays and Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will have another 2 series for you folks next week. We will be teasing those out on the page over the next few days once we decide who we want to show on stream. But thank you so much for joining us. Before we go, Audio, any last words? Your first cast is done. How does it feel?
It's a great experience to be here. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you, casting the games, talking about League of Legends. Best job in the world. Kudos to Reborn Gaming. They are, in fact, reborn out of the ashes. Lost that first game, but really came back. It was an exciting match, and I'm really excited to follow this team and all the others through the series. And yeah, we'll do it.
Well, there you have it, folks. We will see you around next week. From myself, Audio, the rest of the ABL Esports broadcast, and staff on the ABL series. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next time.